Hey, good Friday evening to you. How is everyone today? I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you, whether you are one of our regular subscribers or just stopping by for the first time, a new subscriber, if you will. Welcome. I hope you're doing all right. That's right, Praxis. It is Gamma World Friday. We have a lot of show ahead of us. We've got a good chunk to talk about. I, of course, have been doing crazy knees bent, running about sort of stuff. But I'm not really going to bother you guys with that. Nope, I am not. I am just looking, pardon me for a second here. Thank you very much. Good evening, Vincent. Hello, how are you? Anyway, so last night, a friend of mine, a friend of the show, actually, invited me over for dinner, and we watched the first episode of Strange New Worlds. Now, he's binged the entire series. I guess it's a little slightly relevant to Gamma World, right? He's binged the entire series. I watched the first episode for the first time last night, and I got to say, as someone who's not a fan of New Trek, with the descriptor here being that New Trek is anything that is not the original show, the animated series, or the movies supporting the original show, having the original show cast. I'm not a fan. But I like Strange New Worlds. I did. For the most part, I thought it was a very good effort, and I enjoyed it. So I give it a recommend. At least the first episode. At least check out the first episode. I did. I enjoyed it. So thank you very much, Volcano God, for making me sit down and watch. It was good. But by the time I rolled in, I was like, man, do I really want to put up a notification and then wait a little bit and start a video or start a live stream? You know, because it'll be almost 11 o'clock. I don't want to keep you guys up all night. So I took the night off. It's July 4th week, you know? Gotta take a little bit of time. But anyway, it's been an interesting and crazy week around here. I hope you have had a good one. We're gonna get caught up a little bit. We're gonna talk about Lost Caverns of TSOJCANTH S4. TSOJCANTH. I keep doing that. Lost Caverns of TSOJCANTH. We're going to talk about that great module. And then here in just a couple, we're going to play some live stream. We're going to play some live stream first edition Gamma World. Our players will be along when they get along. But yeah, so that's coming up, and we have a nice long evening. No, my pants are not soggy, Jack. I promise you. So I hope you're having a good Friday evening. I'm having an interesting one myself, and I'll let you decide on whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. So we actually last left off when we were talking about Lost Caverns of TSOJCANTH. We were just getting into the wilderness section. Now, the wilderness map of TSOJCANTH does not exist in the original tournament version. The original tournament version just says, you're there. And this is where we kind of get into the divergent part of this away from being an S series map. Now, hello, Luther. You remember when I introduced S4, I explained that it's actually supposed to be WG4. It's supposed to be a World of Greyhawk map. But it got shuttled over into the S series. We didn't start the WG until WG5, which we're going to talk about as it relates to S4. But as this is a World of Greyhawk module, and with some notable exceptions, which we'll go over, it kind of diverges from the paradigm of S-series modules. We are put straight into the socio-political World of Greyhawk, not just, hey, it's here on the World of Greyhawk map. There's a lot of factors at play here that your party could get caught up in, that a DM may throw at your party. But let's start by looking at the wilderness maps. Let me share the wilderness maps with you. So this is what the players get to work with. A mountain trail map that indicates possible locations, assuming they start out in the Kingdom Abyssal. Possible locations of the Lost Caverns themselves. So a Greyhawk hex is 30 miles across. These are 3-mile hexes. So this is not like a massive chunk of the World of Greyhawk map, but it's still pretty huge. Here is what the Dungeon Master has. There's low hills, there's a river, there's these dots, which we'll explain. The numbers are there also, but there is another trail that is not on the player's map that comes down here. Now, two things to note, and this is actually not given on the key, but it's kind of self-explanatory. That is Igwilv's horn, a tall Matterhorn-like peak. This is the Lost Caverns. And your party can wander down this trail and find themselves here. No, I don't want to edit the PDF. Jeez. So here's our cavern maps. We've talked about those, the greater and lesser caverns. Honestly, the lesser caverns should be first. Your players don't start in the greater caverns. Lovely piece of, is it Jeff Easley's art? I believe it is. This is not a great scan, by the way. The actual art is much nicer looking. So we've read the introduction. Now let's talk about the notes for the Dungeon Master. This is where you kind of get into the politics of Greyhawk. I would do that, Luther. I don't have the Desert of Desolation modules anymore. I don't really know enough about FR to give them their due. So one thing we get from this right away, and of course, this is something that should apply to all modules. As Dungeon Master, you should enliven the module with as much of your own creativity as you wish, then add your personality to interpret the cold lines of print and make them come alive. And that's just good common sense, right? The details of how the party was gathered should serve as a reasonable starting point. You should also create a background of the realms seeking the treasure. Important. This would include the power and personality of the ruler sponsoring the party search, the strength of the ruler's political rivals, if any, and the politics of the sponsoring realm. Other nations would also want Igwilv's treasure and would have to be handled in the same detail. If the World of Greyhawk fantasy world setting is a part of your campaign, guilty as charged. The party is sponsored by the Margrave of the March of Bissell. Perrinland, Ket, Valuna, and Ayuz are enemies or rivals of Bissell. Now, I went a different direction. I slightly adjusted the location of the caverns And I flipped this wilderness map. So the party is coming from the east, well, the southeast, not the southwest. It opens it up a little bit more to the party finding the legend and then coming up from that direction. Or it did in my campaign. So I had to be careful to flip. Jack says, backgrounds, personalities of the opposing realms. Oh, is that all? Yeah, well, you know, it does put you in the hot seat, which is the driver's seat. Because as you wander through here, you can potentially, your players can potentially bump in to patrols from different kingdoms. This is kind of where a lot of borders meet. Fortunately, not IUs, but. So let's, again, talk more about the outside map. The Dungeon Master's copy is shows far more than the players. Each hex is approximately 3.5 miles. It shows the border areas of Ket and Perrinland between the Velar Driva and the Crestable and the town of Crestable, as shown on the map of the World of Greyhawk. The trail through the mountains is indicated on both maps. There are narrower side paths not shown on the player's map that lead to lettered encounter areas A and B, as well as the Lost Caverns. Wilderness encounter hexes are marked by large dots on the Dungeon Master's map. Special wilderness encounters are numbered on both the DM and the player's maps. All these encounters are described hereafter. If the party wanders off the trail, the DM should make an encounter check each morning and each night with a 1 on D10 resulting in encounter. Use the wilderness encounter tables to determine what the party encounters. So, we continue. So you can go mounted or afoot, major trails, minor trails on the DM's map only, or no trail, which is just climbing over mountains. Now, we meet here in this module our first new creature, and it's the first of many, although it's not in the bestiary in the back. Does this thing have its own separate bestiary? You better believe it does, and we'll get to that in a little while. So there's notes here about what kind of horse you'll need, food, and hunting. Now, I found this kind of interesting, and this is something you may or may not want to take into your game. Let's see. So it's about balancing classes. I just eyeballed it and threw my party in here, and they had a lot of fun. Now, right here, Gary states, the original tournament scenario had no outdoor adventure. To make the party equal to the challenge of the expanded scenario, the last 4 characters should be increased by 1 level. Otherwise, a ranger and a cleric, each at 5th or 6th level, can be added to the party to enable it to handle the outdoor adventure. These additional 2 characters have been provided along with the original tournament characters. So you do get a piece of the original. And I love this little warning from Gary here. I love this little warning here. Players seeking an early death of their character should be quite satisfied with the Lost Caverns of CAVERNS, for there are many such opportunities for the foolish or rash to end it all. Caution the players that this is a most difficult and perilous quest, one fraught with all manner of danger. To succeed, they must be prepared materially and mentally. This is meant to serve as a word of caution to the able player. Those without real knowledge of the AD&D gameplay, without the ability to handle characters at the appropriate level for this adventure, will see their characters perish swiftly if the module is handled correctly. So right off the bat, hey, you want to kill your character? Bring them into this module and don't pay attention to what you're doing. So we've got a bunch of starting notes for the DM as usual. And here we get our introduction, which is very different from the convention module introduction. Your party has been gathered by agents of the Margrave of the March of Bissell. He tells you that there are political considerations, which he does not explain, that prevent him from searching for Igwil's trove himself. However, it is vital that the treasure not fall into the hands of his enemies. Your party's goal is to get the treasure before Bissell's enemies do. The Margrave has provided you with horses and a map showing the most probable location of the Lost Caverns. The Margrave will also give you an escort from Thornwood to a narrow trail leading from the easternmost arm of the Bramblewood. Of the Bramblewood Forest, northward into the Yattle Mountains, the very heart of Igwil's old domain. You have pledged to repay the Margrave for your horses as well as any other equipment he provided out of the monetary treasure you obtain. You will also be required to pay a treasure tax of 15% on all money taken. He tells you that the remainder, as well as any magical items taken, are your reward for undertaking this perilous quest. However, you are warned under threat of dire punishment not to allow any magical items to fall into evil hands. Notice how many modules have that threat of dire punishment in there. The G series is like, go kill the giants, but if you come back empty-handed and say you didn't do it, it's a headsman's axe for you. An examination of your map reveals that the track through the mountains has numerous branches. At the end of each track is a number, evidently standing for something unknown. The agents of the Margrave cannot tell you about the significance, except that it is likely at one of the sites are the caverns you seek. Obviously, the map is incomplete, for from what you know of this part of the world, there are mountains where nothing but blank space is shown on the chart. With this map, you must somehow find where the treasure is hidden. The more direct route to the caverns, the less the likelihood of injury or death from the many perils on the journey. A scrap of parchment with a bit of doggerel on it might be a clue, or it might be of no use whatsoever, save to mislead you. We get to a Gary Gambit here. The verse says, "The horn of Igwilf pierces the heart. Look over your shoulder before you start. How many sorrow, foolish men, because they didn't turn back then." After a journey of a 7 nights a week, your band has reached the foothills of the Yettles without incident. Before you is the winding path leading into the grim mountains. Behind is the escort of horsemen riding south for home. Fortunately, you have sure-footed mountain-bred horses given to you to assure swift passage to your destination. Vellum map secured safely, there is naught else to do but proceed with the quest to find the lost caverns of TSOJCANTH. And so, you are launched. So let's talk about the numbered encounter areas. There are 6 numbered areas shown on both the DM's and the player's wilderness maps. No specific encounters are given for these 6 areas. The DM should choose an appropriate encounter for each area using the wilderness encounter charts in this module. Note, that's not the wilderness encounter charts in the Dungeon Master's Guide. You may want to go there, but just a fair warning, it might tonally break it. And it's a little it's kind of convenient to go to this. And the nice thing about this is even players who played this module before are not necessarily going to be familiar because they can't have played all possible iterations. Do not choose numbers 1 to 6 simply because encountered areas are numbered 1 to 6. 1 could be the stone giants or the wolfware. 2 could be the wyverns or the hermit. The tribesman or the dragon could be at 3, etc. What I recommend you do, because there are the 6 encounter areas, is just go down the list. Sorry for the scoliosis, guys. Is just go down the list and every asterisk encounter area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just roll a d6 and assign them accordingly. Of course, you might look at this and think, hey, area 1 with a blue dragon, how about the blue dragon is way off away from anything? Adjust accordingly, do your thing. But we have a random encounter area here. Once you do that, you'll be left with 14. Then you'll have to break out your DCC D14. I don't know if DCC comes with a D14. But each encounter is fully fleshed out, and it's very convenient that way. We get some notes on expanding the wilderness adventures. I mean, think about how in-depth this is. We haven't set foot in the Lost Caverns yet. We're nowhere near them yet. We're getting a lot of stuff here. Let's see, where are we? Okay, encounter 1, the Border Patrol. They are both Ketites and Paranlanders. And depending on what you say to them, you could potentially draw their ire. Why are you here? What are you looking for? What Lost Caverns? Have you found anything? And remember, your party is going to be between 6th and 8th level, maybe. These guys are not pushovers. Just to kind of take an example here at the Ketites. Captain Amoa, who is a fighter, well, or rather, he's a cleric. Look at the spells he's got. He's got 6 lancers, a sergeant, 12 horse archers. The captain's no slouch. And then the Paranlanders, likewise, have a commander, a lieutenant, 10 horse archers, a fighter magic user. I mean, that the party mouths off, that stinking cloud could just end the adventure right there. Like, you've got to take the module and set it aside. And right off the bat, of course, we're told patrols will be suspicious of all individuals encountered. Only the leaders of either patrol will speak the common tongue. If there's a lawful neutral cleric with a party, the mullah will be friendly to them, and even a lawful good cleric will prevent hostility. Oh, I'm glad you like the thumbnail. If there is let's see. An elf or half elf of good or chaotic neutral alignment will favorably impress the Paranlander patrol. A party that acts suspicious or hostile in a suspicious or hostile manner will be threatened in an attempt to disarm them and bring them to the nearest border stronghold for further questioning. Simply stating that the party is in the Yaddles, adventuring and seeking to slay the enemies of humankind will generally suffice to obtain a grudging dismissal from the patrols. How do you get away with something? Act like you're supposed to be doing it. Then we have an avalanche that can wipe out a party. Rock slides, which are old avalanches that your party might have to carefully pick over. Brown bears, a gnoll raiding band. You got to love encounters with gnolls, right, Ricky? Giant eagles. Get your hobbit on with the giant eagles. Mountain tribesmen. They're out hunting and watching for potential raiders, particularly humanoids. They're neutral and suspicious of strangers. They'll attack weak-seeming parties that show any sign of wealth, and anything is wealth to these poor mountaineers. They can be bribed with money and weapons or similar gear. They can also be enlisted as allies against known raiders or to attack some place and gain great and easy wealth. In no event will they serve long or explore caverns. The entire band's treasure totals 1 to 6 silver pieces and 5d6 copper. They come from the Gnome Vale. The chief of the tribesmen is a feudal vassal of the gnome. A gray-furred giant snake. The Monday night group encountered this guy. And they did make out with some good treasure from him, with the furred hide of it. A goblin band. This should be good fodder for a party to exercise their lightning bolts and fireballs, and their rangers who do their level in damage. And as goblins are 1-1 hit dice, goblins are half hit dice. All of your fighters will be attacking them equal to their level in number of attacks they can commit against them. So this should be a good, fun slaughter. The wolf pack with wolf weirs. Couple of hill giants. Ricky, you said them and they appeared. The wolf pack. You must be like the wolf pack, not the six pack. Mountain dwarf band. This is a good, fun role-play kind of encounter. They're bent on wreaking revenge on a tribe of hobgoblins as established as a catman in the mountains nearby. They will not listen to talk which would prevent or delay this mission. They will ignore any party of neutral or good aligned characters or anyone else who does not hinder or attack them. If attacked, they will fight fiercely until their leaders are killed, at which time they will retreat while fighting. Yeah. The party of snooty elf players that turns their noses up at these guys and acts like, they're better than them could find themselves in an interesting bit of trouble. The Hermit. I would say outside of the actual caverns themselves, the Hermit is probably one of the most important encounters your players can have. It's a shame that he has psionics. If you go all the way back when we were talking about how to play first edition AD&D many, many moons ago, you get my feeling on psionics. But here it's set before you. So unless you're willing to either make this guy a magic user or ignore the psionics he has completely, you got to know the psionic system if the party is going to try and front when they deal with this guy. 19th level of mastery, mass domination. 5 creatures, each of 20 hit dice or 20th level. Yeah. So here's the useful information you can get from him. A tall mountain is called Igwil's Horn. The lost caverns of CAVERNS are said to lie south of that peak. A narrow track does go to the caverns, for when Igwil ruled, there was much coming and going to and from the caverns. Rumor has it that the caverns are a nexus of planes, and many odd monsters now inhabit the caverns. And that's true. There are at least 2 levels of caverns in the place. Note at least 2. If the party will trade some valuable item and some small amount of food and perhaps a new cloak, he will give them a page from the journal of the lone survivor of a past expedition to the caverns. And we get a little Book of Marzabal kind of a thing going here. And I'll zoom in on this. If you're familiar with your Tolkien, the Book of Marzabal, the book they found in the Balin's tomb, Gary always kind of likes going back to these little scraps of paper. And I love it. The small cave was secret, fore and back, hidden by here the text is blurred beyond any reading, and we descended. There was no certain path, so we smudged. And this is told of above, for it is where Yame and Braelid met their end. Our persistence paid. The right way was beyond and narrow, so stained. Earn, light, straight, pass, more stain. The span swiftly to plunge to doom where the Wat here smudges and stains obliterate several lines. They were right. It is more dismal here than above. Only the 2 of us have, and has probably survived. We pray that the lucky blank is true, for we are now going to attempt entry Large rusty smears have wiped out the next words. Of no help. I managed to escape. Why did we? Here, the few remaining words are smeared and unreadable, save for the last word. Beautiful. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. Welcome, welcome. So we have a Book of Marzabal, tantalizing bits of information here. And then there's some kind of mundane stuff. 4 trolls, trolls are good fun to fight. A wyvern. I love wyverns. I love dragons. Anything that's got great, huge heaps of coins for characters to find. Yes, I'm the Eternal Dungeon Master, but I like to see the players win when they've earned it. I'm like Red Skull there in one of the last of the Marvel movies. I lead people to a treasure I can never possess. That's kind of my Eternal Dungeon Mastering. So you got some wyverns. Eggs are valuable. They have 450 EP, 10 gems, 100 base value. A suit of elven chainmail and a quiver with 7 normal and 3 +1 arrows. And oh, look, it's the Hobgoblin War Party. So Dungeon Masters, if your party destroys them and then later encounters the dwarves, and they have a bit of a confab, the dwarves may reward the party. Or they may have great ire because the dwarves wanted the honor of destroying the hobgoblins. And if the players send the dwarves to where they found the hobgoblins and fight with them, you see all the opportunities here? They are in the pay of Ket, again, more Greyhawk. With orders to prevent or report human movement along the Ketite border area. Of course, these creatures will attack nearly anything, especially if they think they can easily win. If they take 20 casualties without causing equal losses, they will flee. And then they've got some loot, war chief, etc., etc. What's a cover charge to get into a war party? I don't know. Yes, that is correct, Praxis. As DM, all treasure is my treasure. I choose to share it with players. We have 6 ogres, always a lot of fun. You like to have a lot of ogres in a fight, right? Elven Warder Band. So we have a lot of armed elves here. Fighter Magic User Captain, Fighter Magic User Aid, Fighter Cleric Aid, and a gaggle of infantry and cavalry. They watch the mountains near the eastern edge of the Yettles to give advance warning of a humanoid raid to the inhabitants of the Velverdiva River Valley. The elves are very cautious and will question thoroughly anyone encountered. Each elf has 1/4 of the coin types, except for copper and silver. Leaders have the same amount per level. Captain wears a jeweled bracelet worth 600. The dragon! One of my favorite encounters outside of the caverns. Subadult blue dragon. Again, I would not stick this right at the beginning of the map. I would maybe move this back a little bit. So we have a subadult blue dragon with all that entails, 30 hit points. It moved into the area several years ago and has raided the surrounding lands in ever-widening sweeps. Although it can speak, the dragon does not have any spell-casting ability. It has just awakened from a long nap and is now flying in search of prey. Its lair is nearby, a narrow-mouthed cavern of considerable size, in which it has amassed 8,000 copper, 5,200 silver, 2,750 electrum, 800 gold, 55 platinum. 15 base 10 GP gems, 7 base 50, 4 base 500, and then some stuff like a jeweled cup, We get a scroll with clerical spells, no alignment, dispel magic, remove curse, tongues, cure critical wounds, gate at the 17th level of spell use in an electrum tube worth 130 gold pieces. 17th level cleric spell. It's a damn careless adventurer that fell to this thing. It will allow the party to pass if they appear strong, do not attack, offer at least one horse for a snack, and give a bribe of at least 1,000 gold pieces. And then it talks about his fighting. He'll stay aloft and attempt to pick off the strongest party members with bolts of lightning, saving one breath for emergency situations. She will then land and begin clawing and biting. And we have stone giants. So those are our encounter. Those are our possible encounter areas. And again, the 6 that I mentioned at the beginning, save those for the numbered areas. Now we have the lettered encountered areas. And one of those, this is where, like, at this point, you're like, are we even ever going to get there? Just relax. Calm down. No, sit. We're going to get there. But this is one of the coolest little additions to an already very cool module. The Gnome Veil. There's a bunch of gnomes here. Laird Furdach na Gwalar and all of his allies. Have to ask Paul Stormberg if this is where the gnome cache was supposed to be hidden. It's a little drawing of it there. And these are the gnomes that the tribesmen are servants of, as it were. And then we get stats for all of them. We got a cleric. It's cleric 7. Under cleric, lesser clerics, infantry, militia, giant badgers. You know, if your party thinks they're going to go in there and just be like, yeah, we're going to be evil. We're going to get our Charlie Manson on. We're going to wipe these guys out. Yeah. 100 militia infantry. Play them smart. And a suddenly bent on destruction and murder party, they won't make it out alive. And, you know, if the party is willing to trade with them, lesser cleric, that stings. Oh, but Padre, you're not a lesser cleric. If your party is willing to behave themselves and they've done particularly heroic things, slay a dragon, wipe out the hobgoblins, wipe out the regular goblins, etc., and can prove that they've done it, well, what do you get? Man-sized shield +1, man-sized suit of chainmail +1, and a potion of diminution. Why gnomes would want to make stuff smaller already is their chief cleric can also use a raise dead spell from a scroll to save a party member slain in battle against enemies of the gnomes. In no event will any gnomes agree to accompany the party on a quest. Exception, if you determine that the party is too weak to succeed without aid, you may allow 1 or 2 gnomes under 5th level to agree to an adventure as full partners. And then we have their lair. Now, before you ask, their halls are generally 5-foot ceilings. Your 7-foot Conan the Barbarian types who, you know, drink out of full kegs of wine and stuff like that, they're going to have to duck. Now, I always thought this was interesting. The gnome's home is riddled with pit traps. These people have trust issues, wouldn't you say? I love that, Jack. Jack Photon says if one ever needs a gnome name, Drop the Street View doodad into any Welsh downtown and pick any shop or street sign. I love it. And then Area B is equally rich and rewarding. The Craggy Dells, a place of rugged beauty with rock spires and jutting mesas rising from a dish-shaped valley. The rock formations make the place a series of meadows and dells. These are scattered. There are scattered shrubs and a few copses of trees, but most of the area is covered with lush grasses. Game is common amidst the dells of the valley. The towering peaks serve as home to a herd of hippogriffs. Consists of a male and his harem. There are 8 nests with a total of 3 fledglings and 1 pair of nests and 4 eggs and 2 others. They nest at the far southeastern edge of the valley. A group of renegade humans and orcs led by a particularly vile half-orc is currently camped in the Craggy Dells. You won't pronounce it correctly. Yeah, I can. I believe it. Hail Michael Connor, unbreaded. So the boss is a fighter assassin, 6th level in each, 43 hit points. Of course, he's got a poison bolts on his crossbow. All the appropriate abilities. So your party can, and they have a spellcaster. Remember what I have said in the past about the importance of including spellcasters with tribes or bunches of potential enemies. This is no exception. Cleric 4, magic user 3, fights his 2-hit dice, and he's got some pretty handy spells. So if the party is able to overcome them, they might actually do well with the hippogriffs, because we come to the end of this and see if the adventurers find this place and use some spell to communicate with the hippogriffs, they will discover that the creatures will not attack if freed, as they have sufficient intelligence to recognize benefactors. If extra effort is made, it is possible to get the 3 partially tamed hippogriffs to remain behind as potential mounts for the party. These animals must be coaxed and well fed by the adventurers. The fledglings will stay if fed and cared for. They will also gain full movement ability and normal AC in 2 weeks. They can also gain another hit die. They will not attain full size and can't be ridden for another year. At that time, each gets its final additional hit die. The fledglings will consider the party members friends and providers, and stay with them if they are fed and cared for initially. Aww. So, here we are. All of these potential encounter areas add up to potentially, and I'm using that word one after the other, weeks. And by that, I mean many, many multiple sessions of adventuring. Now, the first time I ran this module, I think we played for 2 or 3 months. We started in the summer, and it was just after Christmas that the party actually made it to the Lost Caverns. The most recent run through this module, it took the party about a week to find the Lost Caverns themselves. Like 3 or 4 sessions. No, 3 sessions to find the Lost Caverns. They basically speed ran the wilderness trails. But it was just the turn of the die. I mean, they didn't. They were like, well, you know, we can. Do you want to go up the north? Well, what do you think we should do? And there was a lot of back and forth. And finally, they decided, okay, we're going to take the southern leg. And that takes you essentially straight to the Lost Caverns. So once in the Lost Caverns, we're treated to a lot of stuff that's very familiar because we've already gone over it in here, in this Lost Caverns. But it's the differences. It's the differences that, well, make the difference. Let's take a look. First of all, we get some very nice box text. I know, box text is a bane, etc. But I think this was in a period before it got too terrible. So there's economy here. There is some economy here. And we have the Disney faces when the party enters. Each of these bas-relief carvings has an animated mouth with a permanent magic mouth spell cast upon it. When any party member comes within 3 feet of one of these faces, the mouth will move and say with a bass, mournfully dire tone, "Turn back. This is not the way." This will be repeated endlessly each time the same or another individual comes within 3 feet. If any member watches a stone mouth, he or she will note that it has something glittering within it. Each mouth has a gem in it. And then it talks about the values and the colors, just like before. However, it does note, unlike the tournament module, if the player sticks their hand in and just tries to take it, they get bitten for 3 to 12 points of damage. 1d10 plus 2. A command spell or demand for the gem will not avail. However, any character simply asks the face to stick out its tongue or open its mouth and stick out its tongue, or any similar request, the face will obey. The mouth will open, the sound ah will be heard, and the gem will be on the tongue. If they attempt to speak with the visage, it will only repeat its deep-voiced warning. However, if the word truth is used in any question or demand, then each face will lie and state majestically, "My way is the right way." Only the visage in the far southeast by the 2-foot wide passageway south will say anything different. That mouth will speak as follows: "I watch the only way." We have some sturges, of course. Again, we have the slate chambers. Now, this has caused a lot of heartache, I think, because of how clay golems are listed. Some people think that the clay golem damage is a typo, that damage you take from a clay golem can only be healed by a 17th level cleric. Some folks at TSR have said, no. That is damage to the clay golem can only be repaired by a 17th level cleric. Tim Kask, at least I think it's Tim Kask, maybe it's Mike Mornard, I'm not sure, say, no, they do damage that only a 17th level cleric can cure. Well, there are no if you go NPC wise through the world of Greyhawk, there are no 17th level clerics. Your character is just crippled for the rest of their lives, effectively, unless you play the game for years and years and years and years and years and wind up with the 17th level cleric. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not crazy about that. Some of you dungeon masters might love that and want to do that and inflict that on your players. But regardless, there is a Berserk Clay Golem right off the bat in the published Lost Caverns. Damage cured only by heal from 17th level cleric. So haste once a day for 3 rounds, special damage +1 or better, blunt weapons to hit, immune to most spells. Look in the monster manual to figure it out. And it has a +2 long tooth, which performs exceptionally for gnome or halfling. And as we've gotten our first unique monster, here's our first new and unique magic item. And we come almost immediately to our second one, Mobats. Mobats. See the end of the module for the Mobats. Basically, they can screech and paralyze. Set your bats to stun. Lurker above, which I believe is in the original also. Jack says Tim is right. We have the grotto, and we meet our next new friends along the way. The Peck, who, when I was a kid reading this module, I always thought were evil because they would yell, "Douse that light, stupid," and try and destroy your sources of light. But parties have always been good with them. And they can be helpful against the Berserk Clay Golem. So the Peck can be kind of an interesting group. They're just trying to get to an open chamber that is somewhere deep inside the mountain. They don't care about you. They don't care about Igwil's treasure. They're actually moving upwards. You're looking to get down. But the Peck, if you talk to them, if you interact with them, if you deal with them, they can be friendly. They can be useful. There are creatures in here, more than a couple, that can turn parties to stone. And I had the party pack a beloved NPC character off using Tensor's floating disk and rope pulley systems that they spent hours creating with ropes of climbing and whatnot to bring the character back to this point and beg the Peck to turn them back to flesh. Halsey says, I think if the GM gets mad at the idea of making the Golem heal requirements more lenient, I don't think I'd want to be in a game with that GM. Well, you know, Halsey, and I tend to agree with you. Greetings, Ellen. Let me just say this about that. A Clay Golem's XP do not even remotely reflect that kind of damage. It is practically unique in the entire universe of D&D monsters in its ability to do that, and its XP are no better than a gaggle of trolls. That's I think it is a typo, and I've never run it that way. Well, no, I'm sorry. I stopped running it that way. I've stopped running it that way. Speaking of trolls, we have 4 there. And here we come to one of the most interesting and horrible encounter areas in the entire revised Lost Caverns, the fungi-filled corridor, numerous small fungi. Oh, and that's something else which I don't think the tournament module mentions. The Lost Caverns are all faintly illuminated. There's glowing fungus everywhere, But as I told my party, it's kind of like, think of glow-in-the-dark toys. Like, you know, little stick-on stars you can get for a kid's wall or ceiling, whatever. And that faint glow that they give off when fully charged by sunlight or a lamp or whatever, that's as bright as they are, ever. You can get used to it. You can kind of maneuver along by it. You're not going to read by it. You're not going to be able to fight by it. You're not going to be able to read a scroll with it. Greetings, Mobius. See, Jack, I think we're all in agreement. It's not a good reading. I think it's a typo. So, in this fungus passageway, which is very long, let me show you guys the fungus bat cavern. Scroll up here a little bit. I did not know what page I was on. Yay. Take me a minute to get there. It is right here. It is along here. It is all the way up till you get to about this point. 1,000 normal bats. Now there's a caveat with the so-called 1,000 normal bats, and it is this. There are effectively infinite bats. Ever play a video game like one of the Castlevanias, and you get like you move a little bit to the right, avoiding a bat, then you move back, you whip it, and you move back to the right, and you come back to the left, and there's another one. Yeah, that's kind of this, except there's 1,000 of them all at once. And these bats have 1 to 2 hit points, 600 times 2, 400 times 1, and they can knock anything down. Everyone in the cavern, if your party screws up with a loud noise, a sudden flash of a lightning bolt, whatever, they're like, hey, let's just kind of get a quick picture here. I'll cast continual light on the end of my staff and hold it up. That's going to cause them to frenzy. Everybody's going to take 1d10 points of damage per round as they collide with them. There are thousands in the cave, and no matter how many are killed, there will always be 1,000 there effectively. And of course, we have normal bad info at the end of the module. So there always are going to be 1,000 bats coming after the party in this area. I'm just going to give you this. I didn't do this for my players when I've run it in the past. The best way to avoid this, if your party sees this and can fall back, silence 15-foot radius, put a character with infravision in front of the party, bunch up, and move down the hall. Don't use light sources. More new monsters here in the long gallery. We have cave morays, which are equally awful. They feed on bats and other creatures which come to eat the fungus alongside the walls. They're like chest bursters, but they're in the rock walls. They leap out and bite and then pull. You've seen footage of morays underwater, right? That's a moray. Now, these were the so-called Chinese giants in the tournament version. Now they're the Fomorian giants. with new stats, 63 and 58 hit points, damage 4d8. Ouch. Thank you for doing some legwork for us there, Jack. If you happen to see it as you are listening, please pop back in and let us know. Beautiful, beautiful piece of art here. That's one thing that I do want to mention. The art in this module is really fantastic. I know for some reason a lot of people will not give Jeff Easley his due. Jeff Easley's artwork in here is amazing. I've gone on record, and I'll say this again, and it's not meant as a diss, but it's not meant as a diss. I'm not a fan of Jim Holloway's fantasy art. His sci-fi art is aces. His stuff in BattleTech, his works in Hero System, Paranoia, even some Twilight 2000 stuff. I never liked the man's fantasy artwork. Never cared for his fantasy artwork. But this is a Jeff Easley piece, and it is gorgeous. I mean, just bravo. Love it. We deal here with the underground rivers, the underground lake, bridges, river exit, the so-called Rainbow Cavern. And we meet another new monster, which I think is the Copper Dragon in the tournament one. Here our new monster is the Gorgamera Chosos, which I'm very happy to say I actually have a Gorgamera miniature, a metal Gorgamera miniature. Let's see. So a Gorgamera, we get a lion, a red dragon, and a Gorgon, the brass bull that can breathe on you and turn you stone. It's very bad. Don't let that happen. And he has piles of that treasure that I like giving out to parties as rewards when they overcome things like this. This is almost as much fun as slaying a dragon. Oh, did I mention there's a dragon in this module? Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. So you got 7,000 silver, 9,000 gold, 800 platinum, 21 gems, 2 pieces of jewelry, and you'll have to calculate that out, what that is. You got your Dungeon Master's Guide. Go to it. I tried to write, I'm not sure if you guys mentioned this. If you dig back through the video files, you'll find where I was trying to write in good old BASIC a gem bag program that would do the heavy lifting on the gem stuff. It's impossible. It is damn near impossible. So he speaks common, dwarf, red dragon, and a pigeon form of hill giant. I love that detail. He just, somewhere along the line, Chosos just happened to pick up enough hill giant to get by. He's got a potion of green dragon control, scroll of protection from elementals, a bag of holding, and a horn of fog. And then for details on the Horn of Fog, see the end of the module. Now, here is a big difference. Here is a big difference. Remember when we found the graven glyphs over here in the tournament module? Well, here the graven, the graven glyphs, you can have the tablet and refer to them always. I have pissed off more players by following the rules as written here. Because you got a ring of protection. By the way, that is a typo in the PDF that is not in the module. It is not a ring of protection plus 11. I mean, can you imagine? But the graven glyphs are more or less the same, and they read: in the center lies the gate, but opening it is sure to vex. Many are the guards who wait as you go to the middle hex, randomly sent to find a way back to a different iron door a seventh time, and you may stay and seek the glowing prize no more. You have won old Igwolf's prize, her hoarded cache of magic, and freed the one with yearning eyes whose lot was hunger traffic. But, and this is important, the DM should read the verses slowly with pauses between each quatrain, then tell the party that the glyphs have faded into nothingness. When I've run this module, it has made players hopping mad that I refuse. Well, I didn't hear it. What my character sees, come on, you have to help. Like, look, I read what I read. You got what you got. Now, this is an oddball room, room 18, and I don't think it's in the tournament module. No party should fall for this. No party should fall for this. This should be a nope, we're stepping back and casting fireball moment for a party. And I'm going to read this out just because of how ridiculous it is. You guys probably saw the illustration down there. Straight out of Aladdin. You have just entered a cave with carpets strewn on its floor, rugs hanging from the walls, and beautiful furniture scattered about it. There are plump cushions piled on the floor. The air smells of orange blossoms, and faint music, tinkling bells and chimes, can be heard. A pair of divans stand along the far wall, with a chest of rosewood between them. The glitter showing from the chest is gems. There are stands upon which rest golden dishes and silver bowls. Malachite and lapis statuettes and bowls are everywhere, upon stands inlaid with mother of pearl, ivory, and rare woods. Silken garments are scattered on stools and heaped in chests and wardrobes. A pair of scimitars are framed by a tapestry showing scenes of battle. A great recurved horn bow and a sheaf of very long arrows rest near the left couch. As you complete your inspection of the wondrous place, you note that there is an alcove to the west, draped with a curtain of glass beads and covered by a strangely worked and decorated folding screen. From behind it, you hear a high-pitched giggle, and before your startled eyes appears a midget dressed in orange silk pantaloons, an embroidered vest of blue and white, purple slippers with curled-up toes, and a large turban of pale purple set with a deep-hued purple gem. He waves a toy scimitar, bows, and bids you welcome to the antechamber of the Garden of 1,000 Earthly Delights. A party should be saying, dust off, nuke it from orbit right now. Who out there thinks this is anything other than a trap? With that, the small fellow smiles, bows, and waddles over to the screen. He pushes it out of the way so you can see what is beyond. There's a marble passageway some 20 feet long, and in it are two rather comely girls. They are accompanied by a fat, puffing chap who might be a eunuch. He is trying to prevent them from coming out to greet you. They are dressed in a fashion similar to the strange hopping and skipping little midget who is now urging your party to follow him into the bright corridor and the sunny garden you can see beyond it. Just why would you think this is like, at the very least, wouldn't you question this? Oh, Mobius, fire walk with me. I love the reference. Yeah. And of course, they're monsters. They're Tao. Under change self spells, in order to dupe the party, they're evil creatures from the elemental plane of Earth. They use spectral force to create an illusory corridor and garden. If the party enters the alcove area, the midget will cast a wall of stone to seal off the area, and the Tao will then attack. If they hesitate, the monsters will come out, and the midget will cast wall of stone so as to seal off the whole chamber. If the fighting goes against them, the Tao will cast rock to mud under the party to mire them in the stuff, for the Tao can move at 6 inches speed through mud. Invisibility will be used to get behind the adventurers and gain an attack advantage. If things go badly, the Tao will eventually attempt to move through the solid rock walls to escape. If forced to surrender, any Tao will grant a limited wish to the party and then twist the meaning of the wish so as to make his escape. All of the treasures of the place are junk. The jewelry is brass and glass. The gems worth only 1 gold piece, although there are 2,168 of them, some of which are very large and appear valuable to an untrained eye. Amidst the brass junk and cheap stone ornaments is a bottle with a captured djinn. If this fellow is freed, he will perform but one service for the party, including smashing down a wall of stone if needed. He will not accompany the party afterwards. And again, we have a new creature, the Tao. So yes, right here your party should be going, hold up. Hang on a minute. We're in the middle of a cold, damp cave. It's full of horrible stuff. We get the cast from the stage production of Aladdin over here all of a sudden. And a sunny grotto. No. No, we ain't doing that. If your parties have true seeing, which is a fairly high level spell, but if they have it, they should be working overtime to crack this nut before they even step into the room. And just like in the tournament module, we have the small lake, the Isle of Rebuke. As soon as they step on, they hear, "Fools, you are in a dead end. Flee back to the south and take the way the water enters, or stay here and die. You are stupid to enter at all, so you'll probably stay here. A deserved fate for niggling mortals." The surface of the island has 3,000 gems of 1 GP value scattered about. That's not base value. That's just 1,000 or 3,000 1 GP gems. Lacedon Gas, they have some good treasure there, which I don't think they're in the tournament module. And we have another potential ally. Over in 22, the pool cavern, filled with water and seems to be no way out other than the way you entered. The water trickles out of the place through a very low cut in the west wall, and you can hear it falling some distance as it does so. The ceiling has beautiful stalactites depending from it. And as in most other areas, the walls are streaked with multicolored rock formations, but these are obviously of little value. And there's a Merid. Here lies an enchanted slumber in the center of the pool under 15 feet of water. Can only be awakened by dispel magic. To actually come within 10 feet of Khazd-dûl, however, requires each individual attempting it must overcome an antipathy spell. The Merid will certainly not attack those freeing him from Igwil's enchantment if they do not irritate him. If they mention Tao, he will surely be inclined to assist them with an alter reality spell in their behalf, providing the party defeated the Tao. If offered a bribe of treasure, 10 or more gems, a substantial magic item, etc., the Merid will be 75% likely to give the party water breathing ability for 1 day and escort them to any location along the underground waterways, should the party choose to explore them. He will not otherwise serve, nor will he be particularly grateful to the party. He will certainly defend himself. And again, a new critter. And here we get a little note: if the DM desires, the Merid encounter can be expanded by creating an underground level for the party to explore after the Merid has granted them water breathing ability. But here's the thing, you're in caverns above. I mean, oh well. And so we come over to the greater caverns. Now we get a clue. We get a clue dropped here, or potential clue. But it says caves and caverns are real tests of playing ability when the DM referees them properly. Even mapping and moving through them is a challenge. When confronted with the teleportation quarters in Area 19, players may become disheartened if they have not had considerable experience in similar situations. If the players are unable to deal with the situation, the DM may place certain clues to be found with monsters that have other treasure. Each clue will be one of the following lines written on a piece of parchment and found in a scroll tube of little or no value. One of the following lines, not all of them. Going south takes you southwest. Going north takes you southeast. Travel southeast and you are south. Northward brings you north. Northwest brings you north. Travel southwest, reverse that. From northeast, you go northwest. Nothing else should be said when the clues are read. After being teleported a time or two, the player should realize the meaning of the clues, yet still be challenged by the situation. And so we have some troglodytes to fight, and their god. In Area 2, one look around this gruesome place shows that something awful uses this place as either a burial crypt or a trophy room. The walls of the vaulted chamber are lined with limed over corpses. A whole circle of barely distinguishable forms creates a lower tier. A fresh airing of calcified corpses seemingly standing upon the heads and shoulders of those beneath decorates the cavern walls at a height of about 12 feet or so. What at first seemed to be rock formations at the base of the lower ring of petrified bodies is evidently many similar remains: dwarves, gnomes, halflings, elves, the shorter standing, the taller kneeling or sitting. The steady drip and splash of water from the ceiling down the walls and over the stony corpses creates a pool of water in the northeastern portion of the cavern. It flows out of a tunnel there. And we have another new monster, the Bodak. With a death gaze. This guy, 9 hit dice, +1 or better weapon to hit, immune to all the usual, half damage from electricity, fire, and gas. And he has a ton of treasure also. But the Bodak is bad news. But he's got a lot of good loot. Potion of diminution, poison, polymorph self, resist fire, a scroll with resist fire, remove curse, raise dead, and heal at the 12th level of spell use. A magic user scroll of 6 spells, Right, Fool's Gold, Magic Mount, Dispel Magic, Distance, Distortion, Statue at the 15th level of spell use. A scroll of protection from possession, a ring of warmth, bracers of defense, AC 7, a candle of invocation, chaotic good, a serpentine owl, a short sword +1 with no special abilities, a suit of elf-size scale mail +2, and a spear +2. This guy is rocking a lot of treasure. So it's a tough encounter, but the rewards are worth it. And one of my favorite encounters of all time, just because it's right on the cover of the module, we have the Be Here Lud. I love Lud. So the B here is the centipede dragon looking thing breathing a lightning bolt spell on the cover of the module. We're on page 26, so that's the B here. And I have a miniature of him, and I don't have it on hand to show you guys, which is fine. It's not particularly interesting to look at, as it is it is not completely painted. I know, big shocker, right? But the party actually parlayed with Lud the first time. He's dumb, he's neutral evil, he has 67 hit points and can breathe lightning. And the only treasure he's got is a parry after proof against poison +3 in his gut. Margoyles, which they actually fed Lud. A subterranean lizard, which those are the ones, the copper dragon. I think Lud takes the place of the copper dragon, and the giant lizards here take place of the fire lizards. Why hasn't he killed the red dragon? Who, Lud? There's no red dragon here. This is new. This is gas spores, which I have. So many players have detonated the gas spores thinking they were beholders. New demons, the Bar Lagura, which are not, again, not in the tournament module. This is a hell of a fight because the Bar Lagura will summon, or not summon, but they will create illusions that they're gating in tons of rock type 1 demons. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with these, with parties fighting them before. And we have the Dark Labyrinth. Or no. We're sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Glowing Grotto. This is when the rumors about the Lost Caverns being a nexus of realities. This is the part where that happens, and it is a love-hate relationship I've got with it. This can derail exploration. I don't mean derail like, oh, well, a bunch of the party get injured and they have to stop and heal. I mean, this can bring an exploration of S4 to a jarring halt. The Glowing Grotto. So it's got a teleportation area, and there's random places they can go. I recommend just following the instructions that say use a 4-sided dice. Ian says, I was told if I have questions about AD&D first edition to come here. You can certainly ask. We'll do our best to answer. Ask away, Ian. We're just talking about Lost Caverns of CAVERNS, but I will stop and answer your question. We're not in any hurry. We don't have to get through this tonight. We've still got the WG5 portion of it to talk about later on, too. You didn't want to do it live? Why not? Ask away. All right, so roll a d4. You have the Dark Labyrinth. Okay, so the party's teleported into a labyrinth with giant bulls and minotaurs. Doesn't seem too difficult to deal with. There's the labyrinth map, which, thank you, Gary, for including a labyrinth map. I am terrible at coming up with mazes. So here's a lovely maze. You can throw your party into. Well, here's the thing. The glowing grotto, like, the party never decided to just go into all at once. No adventuring party has ever decided to just go into all at once. They've gone in one at a time and watched their friends vanish. So they can wind up teleported. Then we have the armored automatons. Now, they were evil fighters in the tournament version from WinterCon 5. These are just animated suits of armor, 30 hit points each, armor class 2, immune to all mind-affecting spells, armed with long swords. The only escape from this place is by defeating an automaton and donning its helmet. Oh boy. When you got a party as large as the groups I've run, and you have, 4 people go in, then 3 people go in, 2 people stay back, you can end up with people scattered across these various little micro mini planes. But so far, it's not too awful, I mean, a magic user having to fight the 4 armored automatons could be pretty dicey, pretty scary. A thief winding up in the labyrinth map. The module's nexus of realities of planes that will derail a campaign. But again, we have to get out of a maze. We have to defeat the armored automatons. It's a little not intuitive as far as putting on the helmets. But I think every time a party is wound up in the armored automatons, they puzzled through it and been like, I'll put on one of the helmets. They vanish. I'll put on a helmet. They vanish. I too will put on a helmet. And then they're all gone. And then they go back to Area 9. Fairly normal gambit. Then we get to this shit right here. The Canyon of Centaurs. Oh my God. Okay, in order, this has delayed a game for months. This has almost led to the campaign going completely different. I mean the campaign. I don't mean this model. I mean the characters are like, well, this must have been the goal. Well, where's the rest of the party? We'll never know. Let's explore this new world we're in after they come up with this. Because you've got this. There's no box text here. I'm not going to read each and every paragraph, but basically, your characters come out in a box canyon. Centaurs are trapped. There's one way out of the box canyon, up a gully, up the side, that's blocked by a giant oak tree. And if the party helps the centaurs pull the oak tree down and they don't die under an avalanche of rubble, the centaurs leave, and as a reward, give the party these horseshoe medallions they're wearing around their neck. If a character unties one of the horseshoes, he and all other party members within a 10-foot radius will be teleported back to Area 9, along with everything they carry and wear. Unless the party uses the horseshoes carefully, there may not be enough to teleport everyone back to the caverns. And right here, if the party does not discover the secret of the magical horseshoes, they will be stranded in the Centaur's world. The DM can provide alternate means of returning them to the caverns. If the party chooses to explore the alternate dimension, the DM must create adventures in this area. The Centaur's world is similar to the world of Greek mythology. Like I said, it can kind of put the brakes on your campaign or throw it into a different gear anyway. And then this thing, 9.4, Hall of Pentacles. The mechanics behind it's just like, Gary, my God, this is what brings us back over out of, well, this is really a World of Greyhawk. This is a dungeon adventure. This is along the lines of the G modules, really. It's more like the G modules, wouldn't you think? Kind of an amped up Keep on the Borderlands more than you know, some weird thing. No, the Hall of Pentacles nail this thing into the S series. It's why I think the Hall of Pentacles is why this is stuck in the S series. Hey, Mark Corey there in the audience. Mark has actually played this. He knows all about the weirdness that goes on in S4. He's of the most recent group. So the Hall of Pentacles. Teleportation to this area brings the party into a dim, seemingly endless pillared hall. They are in an open area with a star-shaped ceiling above. Each separate party member is trapped within a pentacle of glowing blue-green material inlaid in the stone floor. These confine them as surely as the strongest prison. The metal of the pentacles cannot be touched or affected by spells. Occasional footsteps can be heard in the distance, but no creature can be seen. Distant chiming and strange chanting are periodically heard, but the captives can detect no difference in light nor note any hunger or thirst. Time seems to drag and fly past all at the same moment. The imprisoned individuals can remain here forever, just as they are, and only other captives will join them. 1 minute of time in this place is equal to 10 minutes of the captive's time in their own reality. So it's got this time dilation thing going. It's got, Interstellar. They're gone for an hour, and the party's like, we haven't seen you for days, Murph. Don't let me go, Murph. That's what's happening here. If one captive can levitate, a fly spell does not work. An attempt to escape can be undertaken. In addition to normal forms of magical levitation, if a character inscribes a pentagram within the pentacle, this will enable the individual to slowly rise up to the multi-peaked star-shaped ceiling. There, set into the polished marble, are 5 small pentacles in a star shape. If all 5 are touched at once, the pentacles in the floor below lose their power to imprison for 5 rounds. If 4 are touched, the individual doing so is sent back to Area 9. If 3, 2, or 1 are touched, the individual is teleported to the corresponding numbered area noted above. There are small pentacles above each prison pentacle, and in order to escape, each captive must levitate and perform the correct action. If the pentacle prisons are brought down and the captives choose to wander around the hall, the DM must devise any encounters. The hall might be part of the stronghold of a clerical order or a powerful magic user or anything else the DM wishes to create. The only means of returning to the lost caverns of CAVERNS is by using the pentacles as described above. If the party chooses to leave the hall, they will be stranded in the alternate dimension until they return to the hall. The DM must create a scenario if the party wishes to adventure in this dimension. This is maddening. This is an absolutely maddening trap. I have never had a party just figure this out. I have always had to come up with an alternate means if the party has gone through split. Now, that's a good use for it. They can use the time dilation trick to learn spells, heal, and such before coming back for more. Okay. I'm going to pause here in my ire because I think this besmirches an otherwise good model. And I'm going to answer Ian's question. A pair of tables puzzles me, especially under armor class adjustments. I have no idea what these numbers mean and how they relate to each, how they all relate to each other. Okay. Ian, looking at the player's handbook, let us crack open the AD&D player's handbook real quick. You are referring to the armor class versus weapons adjustment table, are you not? Oops. Character abilities. Oh, come on. You're not going to... For some reason, that bookmark's not working. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go down. Let's see if we can answer something. First of all, Ian, I'm going to tell you, before I get there, don't use it. It will slow your game to a halt. If you have a DM who can use armor class versus weapons adjustment tables, good for them. But if you're DMing, don't use them. Gary didn't use them. He didn't use them in tournament play. He didn't use them in his home campaign. I used them once. They're slow and cumbersome. Okay. Armor class versus weapons. We're just going to go across the top and we're going to look at axe, battle. Yes, do keep the speed factor and I'll tell you why. Length is important also. Space required, kind of important depending on your dungeon. Speed factor, again, is important. Armor class adjustment. If you are hitting armor class 2 with a battle axe, subtract 3 from the roll. If you are hitting armor class 3 with a battle axe, subtract 1 from the roll. If you are hitting armor class 4, add 1 to the roll. If you are hitting armor class 5, subtract 1. 6 and 7, nothing. I'm sorry, 4 may be, that could be a typo. 4 is probably subtract 1. 8, 9, and 10, add 1, 1, and 2 respectively to the die roll. So I have a battle axe. I'm attacking someone in plate mail and they have a shield. That's armor class 2. Let's say I need a 15 to hit them. I roll my d20. Oh, look, I got a 15. That means I hit. Not so fast. Armor class versus weapons means that you must subtract 3 from your die roll. So that 15 becomes a 12. It doesn't hit. Do you see how cumbersome that is? Do you see how that can slow a game down? Armor class versus weapons is not a good system. And here's the thing. It is specifically armor. Consider the ogre. An ogre, I believe, I don't have the monster. You know what? I want to make sure I got this right. Let's open the monster manual here and let's look up the ogre. Now you might think that's hunky-dory. No, that's fairly simple. I don't have to sweat that. That makes sense. Well, I'm about to rain on your parade a little bit there. Ogre. They're armor class 5. Take a look at that picture. That illustration isn't there just because it's cool. It is cool, but the ogre is not armor class 5 because he is wearing armor class 5. He is not wearing scale mail and carrying a shield or wearing chainmail with no shield. He's wearing dirty hides. He has tough, horny skin and calluses. He is naturally armor class 5. So you don't apply weapons versus armor type for him. It really only comes up unless an adventure specifically says the King of the Hill Giants is wearing a dirty iron hauberk which gives him armor class X, dirty iron ring hauberk. So it's chainmail, and I'll apply there. So don't use the armor class versus weapons. Just they will slow your game to a screeching halt. Now, you might have a DM who is so organized and so on the ball that by encounter, he just knows he can just store it in his head, or he's got a big chart or something, and it doesn't slow his game down at all. But I'm here to tell you, with decades of dungeon mastering experience behind me, that table will slow your game down. It could slow it to a halt. Most of the time, you're going to be fighting fantastical animals. A chimera, a dragon, a manticore, a giant, a troll, an orc, a kobold, a gray ooze, a black pudding, a hellhound, a doppelganger. They're not wearing suits of armor. Their armor class comes from quickness and toughness of their skin and physical resiliency. So you're going to ignore it most of the time anyway. And because of that, when it comes time to pay attention to it, because your party runs into men, bandits, 20 to 200, now you've got to stop and think, okay, they're wearing leather armor. Bob's got a long sword. He's okay. Just don't do it. Organized DM, you ever hear of such a thing? I haven't. I have not. Now, speed factor is good. Speed factor is good for a few reasons, which we're not going to get into all of the specifics tonight. The biggest help with speed factor is initiative ties. Let's look at that real quick. Go back to our battle axe. Speed factor 7. I have a dagger. You have a battle axe. Roll initiative. You roll a 3. I roll a 3. I'm going to stab you with my dagger before you can stab me with your axe. Even though we tied initiative, actions may not necessarily be simultaneous. If I have a +4 dagger and you've got, say, 8 hit points and a battle axe, and I stab you successfully, roll a d4 +4, oh, look, an 8. You're on the floor bleeding out before you have a chance to swing at me, even though we tied initiative. Now, if you have a dagger +4 and I have a dagger +4, starting to sound like Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood. If you have a dagger +4 and I have a dagger +4, I go across the battle mat. I stabbed your character. I stab him up. Drained. Anyway, if you have a dagger +4, I have a dagger +4. Both, regardless of magic, are speed factor 2. Then if we go at each other, I have 8 hits, you have 8 hits. Our blows strike simultaneously. We both roll 20s. You roll your damage. It's 4. 4 + 4 is 8. I roll my damage. It's 4. 4 + 4 is 8. 100 years later, people find 2 skeletons lying on the floor of this dungeon with daggers plunged in each other's chest and bony hands clutched around it. So that is where your initiative ties can be resolved by speed factors. Now, some of these weapons, if you look at their speed factors, have tremendous speed factors to them. We have a resident polearm expert here. He is very, very, very smart. Ricky Maru. He's TK in Monday nights or Tuesday nights live streamed AD&D game. And he can tell you all about what each one of these kinds of pole arms are. But look here. We have a run sewer, which is a kind of pole arm. It's 18 feet long. It is speed factor 13. Speed factor 13. All the guys with daggers on an initiative tie are going to rush in under that thing and before he can swing it around and brain one of them. But this is bad. Don't use this. If I had a little marker tool, let me see. No, that's the highlighter tool. That's a signed document. I just want to draw a line. I just want to draw a big red X through this. Don't use armor class adjustments. It just, I mean, look at this screwy stuff. And again, it only matters versus armor types. If your party goes through the wilderness, they fight the dragon, they fight the black puddings, they fight the phase spiders, they fight the doppelgangers, they fight the occasional goblin band and whatnot, and then they get to the city and they bump into a bunch of ruffians in leather armor. I promise you, as a DM, you're going to forget to use the weapons versus armor types. You are entirely welcome, Ian. See, I'm not just here because I like to hear the sound of my own voice. I don't. People ask me, have you ever thought about editing your videos or doing edited? No, I'd have to listen to myself talk. But if I can impart some wisdom to you guys, I would absolutely, I will absolutely pause and take that and take that opportunity to do so. Now, you said there were 2 tables. Was there another table? Because we got a few minutes before 9:30. Yeah, we've got like 12 minutes here, and there's only one other thing I want to do. We're not going back to S2 tonight, guys. We're gonna pick up S2 again on Monday evening and kind of continue on with that. Praxis says I still fill it out on my character sheets. I mean, sure, you know. So statistically looking at this, the best weapon as far as getting bonuses across the board, same page, table below it. Yes. There are armor class adjustments for missile weapons also, and ignore those 2. Boni. Boni. Mark is there on Monday nights, and here's the talk of the boni. The light horse lance, I'm sorry, the heavy horse lance is pretty good, but you got to use it from the saddle. I guess in a dungeon, the halberd is really good, and the worst is, where is it? The worst is probably the joystick. I mean, look at the joystick versus plate mail. -8. Well, I've got a +1 joystick. That's awesome. The guy's wearing plate mail. All you can do is give him a bad case of tinnitus. Keep the fire rate and the speed factor. Keep the fire rate and the speed factor. And range. Pay attention to range. There are range penalties and bonuses. So I hope that helps you. Heavy crossbow is very nice. Speaking of helping, I want to take a minute here. First of all, I want to say welcome to all of our new subs. We got a nice uptick in subs. Nice for me, okay? You know, there are influencers out there, 22 million subs or something like that. I don't fucking know. But no, some folks have signed up. It's always helpful if you want to click that subscribe button and that bell icon. for more helpful information like this, I greatly appreciate that. I certainly do. Something else you may have noticed if you're new stopping by, you can support us on Patreon. You can support us via Subscribestar. Both of those things are awesome if you want to help keep the lights on around here. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. And for those who have, let me just take a hot minute here and say some thanks to our patrons and Subscribestar members. Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, The Dungeon Minister, Manny the Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob Knows I Can't Say That, Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mikey Mank, The Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, and John David. And we thank all of those guys, again, for literally helping keep the lights on around here. And I'm not just pointing to my studio lights either. So thank you all so very, very much for choosing to participate that way. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Our newest subscriber, Ian. I apologize, Ian, if I mutilate this. Is it Bartosh? Is it Bartosh? Have I got that right? Ian Bartosh Wise. That's just a cool name, period. You know, I mean, I would love to have gone through life. I am Ian Bartosh Wise. I got it. I got it in one. Ian says I got it right. That's great. So if you are new, like Ian, or maybe you're just sitting out there quietly, like, I don't want to type anything in the chat right now. That's perfectly fine. Sit and enjoy. Maybe you're enjoying it like a movie. I've had people say like, oh, I never watch your show when it's on live. I listen to it. This is the coolest thing. And if you're listening, sir, if you know who I am referring to, my daughter, my oldest daughter, said she has a friend who works at a library in some tiny little town up in Canada. And he listens to my, like while he's working in the library, he listens to my show as a podcast. He doesn't watch it. He listens. There's just something so cool about that. Just this remote part of the North American continent. And my voice has reached out to there. That's really cool. I like to think that I can and have made a little bit of a difference in folks' lives in that respect. So it's good and it's fun. And thank you, Ian, and anyone else who has signed up, whether you signed up, subscribed, I keep saying sign up, whether you subscribed today or whether you've been with us this whole fun ride all the way back in 2014. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. I know I have a small but strong Canadian contingent. Greetings to America's hat. You guys are awesome. I have some good folks from the Great White North. Dabja, just shitting there quietly. Your attack was too slow, Highlander. No better than that of a clumsy child. Comrades, today we sail into history. Thank you, Dungeon Minister. I will pass that along. She's having a time right now. She's having a time. Show Goldfinger. Do you expect me to talk? Ernst Stavro Blofeld. So let me check something here. I got many, many messages. Let me see here. Just want to make sure all my players. Is that working? There we go. Make sure all my players have got the invite to come on board tonight. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my place. Even with two monitors, it's easy to lose my place there. But yeah, we'll be kicking off Grammar World. It's been 125 years since the bombs fell. The Great Grammar Wars. Is it 2 periods after, or is it 2 spaces after period, or 1? Is lol a word? So on, etc. We get kind of a lighter group with Gamma World. And if you're not familiar, when I keep saying play Gamma World, we do a little bit of live stream Let's Play. And it's for fun. We do have a lot of fun playing Gamma World. Now, unlike D&D, where we get a lot of, sometimes we get miniatures out there on the table. Which let me see. Let me see if I can make. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the camera is pointing in an opportune direction. I'm going to switch to this, and it's going to look really weird. Okay, yeah. So there's a Tupperware thing sitting on there, but you can see there's miniatures and Dwarven Forge and whatnot. That's not normally where our camera would be sitting. But unlike that, Gamma World is currently, and I think by popular audience vote for the time being, it will stay Theater of the Mind. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Theater of the Mind is fine. But Monday night, I like to get my Dwarven Forge out. I like to get the Forge on, if you will. And so if you I keep saying Monday night, Tuesday night. If you stop by on Tuesdays and watch us play first edition AD&D, you will see a use of miniatures and whatnot on the table. Now, the one thing, though, that I do say, and I do try and emphasize this, is this is not like the battle grid days of 3rd edition and 4th edition, where it was literally like, okay, count your squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, I moved 5 squares forward. And where there was arguments over whether or not diagonal movement was the same anyway. No. I have Dwarven Forge and miniatures out because it's nice to see where your character might be standing. And I have a bunch of cool miniatures. I've never been the battle grid guy. I've never been the break out the tape measure guy. There are games that it is for that. And there are games that it's not for. Yeah, sometimes I will say, okay, you're on that end of the room that I have set out, and the bad guy's on this end. So no, you're not going to hit him with a shocking grasp spell from where you are. Well, I'll just move my piece over. Well, no, wait, there's initiative and and so on and etc. The rules still apply, but at the same time, I do kind of like to not be too board gamey with it. And I think you make a good point there, Dungeon Minister. I think you kind of make a good point. about the future naivety. I mean, when Paul Stormberg and I see that some of my GW players are in the green room right now. We got some who are going to be a little bit later, but we'll get rolling on this in just a minute. Gary went to painstaking lengths in S3 to make things not look like things. Like there are like healing sprays that look like hand grenades. There's a stunner that's like where the waves of electrical energy that stun you come out. The thing is spherical and has kind of a conical bit on it. Now, and it doesn't have a trigger like, oh, well, I pulled the trigger and obviously, you point in there. It's got a button on the side. Like if you think of like the safety button on a drill, that's how it's triggered. But the thing with the stunner is you would think, oh, pointy end, that's where the stunning energy comes out. It's the other way around. And if I had a bunch of miniatures, I mean, guys, I'm going to go stand next to that robot. When I've gone to painstaking lengths to say in your primitive post-war, just hard scrabble Mad Max brain, robot is not a thing, right? Yeah, the fire extinguisher that looks like a flamethrower. Or a blaster rifle, rather. So yeah, with Gamma World, we tend to heal a little bit more on the idea of theater of the mind. I've thought about printing up sci-fi minis. God knows I've got plenty of STL files and a resin printer and a FDM printer over there, and I could print up sci-fi terrain and sci-fi miniatures, and I have sci-fi miniatures, as you can see, up towards that end. But ultimately, no, I think we'll stick Theater of the Mind. I think we will stick with Theater of the Mind. So, with that said, let me just check on one other thing real quick, guys, and then we will get going here. So we have a couple of players who can't make it, but one player who will be here a little bit later. So without further ado, those of you, again, new watchers to the show, do I use normal graph paper and pencil in the locations of characters, monsters, etc.? If I don't have a dungeon map already, or a battle mat or miniatures and terrain, yes, I will have some kind of map. But in those cases, I'm describing it to the players, and it's up to them to keep track of where they are. Kind of like Dungeon Minister said, it's dead reckoning. So let us welcome Doomsword Deathmaster and Mobius to the chat. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
How y'all doing?
Not too bad.
We are short a couple of players, and our third will be a little bit late. Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Oh, cool.
Can you hear?
Sweet. I thought I was having a mic issue.
Nope.
Excellent.
No problems with Michael. So we are going to we're just going to go ahead and jump into it, and then our James will be here a little bit later, but we are going to be without Yang and Zhao, and T Presence can't make it tonight, but that's okay because you'll be here in spirit, by gum, and I'm going to share that link anyway, just in case you can. So let's get rolling. Now, for those of you who weren't here last week, who are new to it, Our seekers had acquired a craft of the ancients that allows them to travel not only over the land, but through the air, and eventually carried them into the dark void between the earth and the silvery globe of the moon above them. Coming closer to the moon, their vehicle's control systems were taken over, and they landed at some kind of dock or port. There they found the desiccated remains of many humans. So far, all of them appear to have been killed through acts of violence. And every functioning robot they have encountered so far has been hostile to them. Well, hey. Look at who else joins the party.
Hey.
Howdy.
Greetings.
Job so I could come, but I didn't.
Do what?
I'd like to say I quit my job so I could come, but I didn't.
Are you still at work?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got lucky, and the pain ended.
Oh, thank goodness.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I am glad that I have sent that I've sent you the link. So we're only going to be down one player and one late player then tonight. Unfortunately, the player you are down is your power armor wearing buddy.
He's not my buddy.
Nobody's your character's buddy.
Well, that's true.
Okay, so you found what you think may be the village where these moon dwellers lived here. Their individual buildings. You've seen almost intact structures like these back in some of the less damaged ruins on Earth, places of the ancients. They're single story. They have a white colored alloy outer covering. The ceiling here is must be at least 20 meters tall, and there are mostly operational forms of illumination, artificial illumination, hanging above you, and these straight grid rows of these structures. And where you were looking at when you had found the map, which I think was Milo carrying the map that you guys unbolted from the wall?
That wasn't me.
Well, one of you was. Oh no, it was our power armor buddy who has wandered off into the maze, into the grid maze of homes, and you hear him muttering through his armored through his armored suit speakers. My God, is this what home was like? Am I home now? And he's just kind of wandering off, and he lets the plaque with the map on it clatter out of his steely metallic grip.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
So,
Any vegetation in that domed room?
you think so? There's what appears to be green grass on the ground in front of each structure.
Who brought the flamethrower?
Okay. As you are standing there and your buddy in the power armor has wandered off, there are two identical individuals. They're wearing white jumpsuits like you. They step around a corner. You are surprised by that. They're very pleasant-looking, pure-strain human females, and they each carry a blunt-nosed device in their hands. And the one nearest to you, when they come around from the corner of the building, says, "Your euthanasia has been overlooked. Please come forward, and you will be painlessly euthanized." And they both raise their what you now know are death rods of some kind. They do have the drop on you. Oh, one of them just completely misses, like to the point that the other one kind of looks over her shoulder.
Well, that's good.
However, one of them, they are firing. There's 4 of you. Come on. All right. Barongo, you take a blasto.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oof. You take a total of 38 damage.
I have 1 hit point.
Oh, at least you got one.
Yeah,
With that many
Barongo,
dice, I was expecting not to have 1 hit point, but
yeah, Barongo screams in pain. Well, Barongo does what Barongo does, and oops. Okay, surprise round is over. What are you guys doing?
Backing away and raising my laser rifle at them. and fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. My euthanasia has been overridden.
Okay. So you guys are shooting back or backing away?
Shooting back.
yeah,
Shooting back for sure.
I'll die if I back away. I'll fall on
Okay.
the glass or something.
Slip on a synth banana peel.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, I didn't. What was Barongo's armor class?
It is 3.
It is
Actually, I'm sorry, it's 2. Unless it's from behind, then it's 3.
okay. Well, she was absolutely shooting you from the front. That may not be. That was a 10 armor class 3.
Armor class 2, if it was from the front. Yeah.
Armor class 2. I am so sorry. You're fine.
Oh, well, I was fine anyway. Just was not as fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the beam passes close enough that like.
That 1 hit point, how fine is he?
So you stagger back, terrified, but you did not take that much damage. That was a DM oopsie.
Okay. Well, works for me.
All right, so you guys are shooting at them. They're going to be shooting at you. Doomsword, have Maddox roll initiative, please.
That would be a 3.
They will go first again. This one is at Maddox. That will Maddox's armor class 3. I think, yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Sorry. It is.
That's
3.
fine.
Yes.
All right. And Barongo, now you're shot.
Okay.
Furiously erasing the damage I just told you, writing it back down. All right. So first, Maddox. Good Lord, these are unfriendly dice. For you guys, for me, they're hilarious.
They'll be hilarious when you miss later.
20. So Maddox takes 27.
Is that all you got?
Barongo, 10, 16, 22, 27.
Awesome. 12 hit points.
Yeah. They're walking forward, humming pleasantly. If you'll just lie down on the ground, we can shoot you through the head. Or you can come to an orderly disposal chamber.
No suicide booths for us.
If I had a quarter on a string.
You'll just be injected with a drug that will induce massive cardiopulmonary arrest, and you'll expire shortly thereafter. They're walking towards you, offering to kill you or to take you to a suicide chamber. So, what are you guys going to do? For the YouTube algorithm, that's an unalive place. So,
Well, we fire back, right?
Right.
already.
I guess I'll go. Or we'll all go. That would be a 12 for me
Yeah, I got a 5.
with a laser rifle.
12. Let's see. 12 will get it.
That'd be
You know, roll your 21. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Milo probably missed. I got a 6 or a 5.
Okay.
I got a 17.
That will hit.
So 6 dice 6.
You firing at the same one, or?
Yeah, we'll just try to get the numbers down.
Okay.
That leaves me with 3 shots left on this rifle. Okay. 19 damage.
Okay. Oh, hey, look who decided to join us. It's Gerg.
Save us, Gert.
Okay.
What are we doing?
You're fighting some androids. Yeah, so you enter them. They kind of regard their injuries a little bit and raise their weapons back up. Gerg, currently your buddy in the powered armor is having a bit of an existential crisis right now because you're in an underground dome city that apparently reminds him so much of his own dwelling place after the war that he's having a hard time coping with it 300 years after the fact. So
You guys seem to meet a bunch of mushrooms off the ground too.
yeah. So he just went to have a sit down. So you're there and you're being shot at by a couple more of the attendant androids.
Okay, let's waste them.
All right. You may shoot back now. Well, actually, we'll say just for the sake of continuity that you've been unable, you've been beating on the outside of his armor. Gerg, Gerg. And then you smell burned flesh and hear cries from your comrades and like, Gerg. And you're running back towards where they are. So you're arriving now, and there's a couple of the fresh-faced, friendly, almost flight attendant-like, not that Gerg knows what those are, robots offering all kinds of methods to unalive the characters if they will just stop resisting, please. So, next round, I absolutely know what they're going to do. And I know what you guys are going to do.
Yeah,
So,
same.
Kevin, roll a d6 for initiative, please.
All right. Let's see. Where am I at? I got a 5.
Nice.
The party will go first as you guys are getting ready to take your next shots. One of them is reaching into a belt pouch and pulls out a cylindrical object and says, "Please breathe the vapors that are ejected from this canister deeply when they start to pour out. You will expire much faster."
Can I shoot that one?
Yeah, you can absolutely take a shot at her.
Do they see Gerg coming, or have they noticed Gerg already? Or
If they have, you don't know.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 5.
All right. That is not sufficient.
Okay, Milo's gonna take a shot. That's 18.
That will hit.
I heard that.
9, 11, 22.
All right, and which one was that at?
The one holding that tube.
Okay. She's extolling the virtues of just lying down and inhaling whatever this thing is going to put out, that it will cause you to expire that much faster. And something in her insides gives away when you blast her, and it just comes to become just an unintelligible word salad. California bacon grease, Chicago orange, water 1262. Kind of stops and looks and falls over on its face.
You see
So
that head come apart.
There's one left.
Gerg will take a shot.
Okay.
Got a 7.
Okay.
I'll shoot as well.
Okay.
If he hits, I'll wait.
He did not. And no, it did not.
Okay. Oh, I got a 1.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah. She's still pointing her weapon at the rest of you, but just for a minute takes her hand off the foregrip and points at Gerg and says, pets will also be euthanized.
Gerg.
And she's just going by the numbers, so this shot is at medics. And that is a miss. That is a miss. Your hair stands up on end as the energy beam passes close by you.
Excellent.
Okay, next round. She is still,
These ladies.
This unit is not primarily built for combat. Please remain still so that I can focus the weapon on you.
Looks like you picked the wrong fight.
A fight is not intended.
It's by me.
Okay. Mobius, roll initiative, please. Because she's not going to stop doing this.
I could do this all day.
It will stop.
Roll it.
Yeah, I got a 2.
You got a 2. She got a 2. So this is going to be simultaneous combat. Once again, firing at Maddox. And missing.
Excellent. I fire back.
Open up.
I got a 16.
Oh,
That will hit. And she's already taken a chunk of damage too, so
23 more.
yeah, that slices open her abdomen, and her robot insides are now robot outsides, and she kind of just doubles, like folds in half at the waist, but remains standing. It's kind of creepy.
Push her over.
All right.
The death rod that they were carrying.
They appear to be functionally the same as the laser rifles you guys have.
Okay. Do we want to take
Any
these with
extra
us, or
hydrogen cells?
Well, yeah, we have them than they do.
They do not have extras. They just have the ones in theirs, and they each fired
3, I think.
3. Yeah, they each fired 3.
So 2 shots each. We still don't want them to go into the wrong hands.
yeah?
Ah,
And
Because
everyone
of-
else but us is the wrong hands right now.
Indeed.
Put them in a bag.
She's too heavy.
Your sex bot.
Okay, so that's it. There's 2 busted up robots, and you guys standing there, thankfully uninjured.
What's is that tube still intact that the one was carrying?
The canister thing.
With gas or whatever. Just in case.
Yes, it is. It is clutched in its hand.
Like in a death grip, or can we like pry our fingers open?
Oh, you could probably pry your fingers open. This isn't like a
Very carefully.
Do we want to even play with that thing?
I say we throw it in that dome with all the vegetation.
Okay, who's prying it open? Her hand, obviously, not the cylinder.
I'll give it a go.
Okay.
Like a vice.
Yeah, it takes you a few minutes, but you get the fingers open. There's this twang and a blue lever, maybe 5 centimeters long, springs off the side of it.
Oh shit!
And a green gas begins to billow out of both ends of it.
Hold my breath.
Run. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting out of the way.
Yep.
No, we still have our plastisuits on, right? Or are they?
Yeah,
not
I'm inside
intact
power
anymore?
armor should be alright, right? Powered armored alloy suit.
I'm still running.
Yeah. that's fine. Let's see here.
Excuse me.
Give me just a minute, gentlemen. To look this up, I didn't think anyone was actually going to mess with that thing.
We will.
So I'm sorry, who was doing the prying?
That was Milo.
Milo. Okay, Milo, what is your constitution?
My constitution is 13.
13. That's a mighty constitution. Okay. Whoops, that should have. Yeah, you're coughing and wheezing. This stuff is like choking you, making your eyes water, and your like mouth just starts watering uncontrollably.
I'm done for, boys. Get out of here.
Your lips are kind of going numb, but you're able to get back, and you don't take any damage from it. And the stuff is kind of billowing out, covering about a 3 meter by 3 meter area.
All right, I've got a question. Is there any? I can't find it here in the book. Is there any downside to just? Is it possible to just continuously wear my gas mask that was given to me?
Oh no, dude! We're like 23rd century technology here. You can just wear it if you want.
Yeah, I think I'll make sure to put that on now.
Okay. Alrighty, adventurers. So where to next? There's these rows of structures. There's the map that you got from Rex Dashington, who is currently not dashing. He's just kind of sitting there staring at his metal gauntleted hands, not saying anything.
Well,
Which way did those robots come from? Just down the hall?
They just rounded the corner of a house.
Check that corner.
Okay. There is one of the moving platforms there, just sort of sitting out in the middle of the space between the two houses when you go around the back of it. Also going around the back of it, you see that in the what could only be described as some kind of common area behind the house, there are the desiccated remains of many persons.
Skeletons or more of those?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
humans?
mostly skeleton at this point. But I mean, you can like, oh, okay, there's, strands of hair, bits of dried flesh, that kind of thing, still clinging to their bones. Some of them are slumped over a long wooden table that's held together with metal tubing. A couple are slumped in front of a some sort of device that is on a pole that's coming out of the ground. It's about a meter up, and it's maybe about 2/3 of a meter wide by 1/3 of a meter deep, sort of vaguely bowl shaped, and it has a burned metallic grid sitting on it. And you think there are a couple of charred bones on top of it.
Cannibals.
Up in here.
Oh,
Can you
do
see
they look
anything
like
colorful
human
in the
bones?
pile?
Yeah, things have kind of faded after, exposure to the nonstop light for a few hundred years. A couple of the heaps of remains are small. You think maybe they're children. They have colorful items near them.
Yeah, I was thinking more of cards, but
No,
no,
nothing
just
like
leave
that.
them alone.
Oh, there goes your drive-through RPG publication.
Yeah. Somebody at YouTube is like, "Oh, this video is getting demonetized."
Should we get on that platform? Let's go for a ride.
That or check out one of the houses, maybe.
Yeah, I'll have a look at a house if you back me up.
Sure.
All right, I'll wander forward toward one of the houses, toward the door opening or whatever.
Okay.
Back you up, meaning riding on your back?
Nah, cover me.
Okay. Get on top
Grab-
of it and cover it.
All right, I'll can I just like open the door? Is the door already open?
The door is not open. There's a panel next to the door. 4 rivets next to it. You've seen this kind of arrangement before. A slot underneath the rivets.
Can we look around through the remains to see if there are some plastic cards that would fit in that slot? I know he was looking in the other place, but
Sure. You fiddle around and you do find a few items like that.
we'll see if they work.
Let's see here.
Guns up.
Yeah, for sure. I'll
Yeah.
cover the door
Yeah.
opening or the doorway.
Yeah, you slot a couple of them in there, and let's see. So, none of the ones that you try seem to affect anything.
Bah.
What are the houses made out of?
They seem to be some kind of metal. Like if you rap on them, they sound like a very solid metal. But they're, like I said, they're covered with a brightly colored paint.
Want to try some more till we find one that works?
Yeah, or could we try some of the ones we brought with us and see if any of those might work?
Sure.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gurg will try the ones he's got.
Alrighty. Let's
One
see.
for every color, I think. Green, blue, yellow, and red is what I got written down.
Yeah.
Okay, Gurg, you slot one of them that you have, and the door slides open.
Excellent. All right, leveling my rifle back down. Take my card back.
Okay, it is dim inside the opening to this place.
Does Gurg smell anything odd in the house?
Yeah, it's just stale. It's very stale. This place has been closed up for a while. You get the feeling that each one of these is probably intended in the event of some kind of an emergency to be able to basically be its own vacuum proofed building. You know, like if something happened to the shielding, the families could be inside each house and it would have its own air. So yeah, there's a slight pop when the door opens, and
Kind of like a soda can.
yeah, a bit like that. And there's a rush of, yeah, good is. Let's get this out on a tray. Nice.
Exactly. Tip straight.
So yeah, you're able to open it up there, and as said, you have the kind of stale smelling air that's rushed out.
Yeah, can we see anything inside there at all, or is it too dim? I mean, for somebody like me who has no special vision.
I mean, there's some light coming in. It's there.
Any switches or anything on the wall behind us as we come in?
There is not.
Don't you guys in the power armor have some flash or some type of lights on them?
No.
Flashbang. Boom.
I mean, I've got my light generation. I can flash the room real quick. Give you guys a glimpse of something in there, maybe.
That'd help.
Couldn't hurt.
I don't know if it would help or not. It'd be just like a camera flash. It might blind you guys.
It's gonna blind us, yeah.
I clap my hands.
Clap on.
Nothing happens.
Okay, well.
Lights on.
Nothing happens.
Gurg's just going to step in the room.
I'll follow.
Wow, that was really well done, James. I didn't know that's such a range.
You gonna do that character voice always now?
Yeah, wow. All right, so Gurg, you step in the room. You've kind of got your ears on for activity, and there is a coming from somewhere deeper in the main structure. You hear footfalls, and there is what it looks like a pure strain human with short blonde hair. He just literally covered with a thin film of dust. Kind of steps forward and regards you and says, "Shouldn't you be at the spaceport or euthanization station?"
Man, you guys are relentless.
Gurg.
Which guys?
Shoot it.
Gurg will pull the trigger.
Same here.
Okay. Now,
Can't
I
we
should
just get
point out,
along?
let's roll initiative. When he sees the weapons coming up, he's not just going to stand there and get shot.
Anything to
I
hide
got a
behind?
2.
You got a 2?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He leaps back into the darkness, and you hear like thudding as he's moving away from you as fast as possible.
Faster than lasers?
Faster than you guys can bring your weapons up to pull the triggers, yes.
I'll follow him.
Physics, damn it!
Gert follows him.
Okay.
Anything to hide behind?
All right. Well, this is not a huge like mansion like giant structure or anything. It's, it's bigger than a hut or a settlement home back on Earth, but it's not, it's not some great cavernous place. So he jumps around. James, give me a D6 roll.
Okay. Back to my dice roller here. Yeah. Oh, we got a 6 this time.
Okay. He is stepping into what appears to be a cabinet of some kind and reaching over to do something with his right hand. He's standing in a cabinet which is just maybe a few centimeters shorter than he is and a few centimeters wider than he is.
Blast him. Got an 11.
All right. Roll your damage.
Life comes at you fast.
What do the rest of you do?
I'm shooting it.
Yeah, if we're blasting, anything worth shooting once is worth shooting a whole lot.
For sure.
Got a 17 on mine.
That will hit.
Oh, I mean damage, 17.
Oh, damage. Okay, yeah, you burn a hole in his white coverall thing there, and a little bit of flame lapping up. Everybody else, go ahead and take your shots.
Milo
I got a 1 again.
What? I got a 6.
That's a miss and a miss. And Milo?
I got a 2.
Okay. A metal portal quickly shuts over, and you hear a tinny metallic rendition of his voice from somewhere around the cabinet say, "Security has been notified."
We're aware.
Does there appear to be any kind of a panel or anything we can try to utilize to open the thing from the outside?
Any cords going to it we can cut?
No and no.
Can we push it over?
I'm gonna
really
shoot
heavy.
the tube.
You're just gonna blaze away at it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, it doesn't resist you or anything when you shoot it, so just roll your damage, I guess. Is anyone else engaging in this also?
I
Yeah,
don't have
sure.
1 shot left in this battery, so no.
I'll wait and see if it goes through.
21.
I'll shoot as
Okay.
well.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't need to.
Yeah, you don't have to roll to hit. It's not avoiding you.
That's 16.
So 21 and 16. Okay. Yeah, the heat is distorting and warping the metal of the panel that's shut, but it hasn't collapsed completely.
Okay, I'll blast it.
I'm gonna reload with my last high.
Yeah, I got to do that after this shot.
Okay.
19.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll fire another shot.
All
I'm
right.
gonna wait.
17 more points.
Okay, yeah. Up the sides of where the thing slid shut from is it's kind of warping in its tracks, and there's a little bit of acrid smoke pouring out from behind. There's this loud buzzing is now sounding, and up above you, somewhere on the wall, there's a red light is blinking, and you hear a hissing sound coming from behind the thing. And you can see pouring out
More gas. Let's get out of here.
pouring out from the space behind it. You can see what sort of a foaming substance is kind of pouring out.
Flame retardant.
Yeah, I think there's nothing left for us in here.
We're just wasting shots on this thing.
Yeah.
Let's check.
As I reload.
Let's check the next building.
Can we look around in here while it's doing this to see if there's anything of value that we could carry with us?
Sure. Let's take a look at what you might be finding.
Maybe a flashlight.
All right, let's have a gander here. You stumbled across the former owner's collection of Zeeth plants. Roll for intestinal sand spurs, everyone.
White leech.
Yeah. Why would anyone ever grow Zeeth in their house? Let's see. There might be some interesting items here. I mean, there are a ton of just odds and ends. You think what might be cooking implements? There's reams of crumbling but brightly colored paper that are bound together, lying here and there. There are flat bits of heavy glass-like material about the size of a book, of a pre-war book, in terms of width and height, but their thickness is maybe a centimeter. There's a large, flat, black square depending on a wall. Just a lot of little odds and ends, but as far as anything useful, searching cabinets and so on, you find... Oh my. Okay. Or no, that's the... Okay, you find a very good... I mean, you know, time has caused a little bit of corrosion here and there. It kind of has a passing resemblance to some of the weapons you have. It's a stubby cylinder that you would hold with one hand from its spade grip. And there are two buttons on either side of the spade grip. It is stored in a cabinet in one of the, what you presume is a sleeping chamber.
Who all doesn't have everybody's got a laser rifle now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got one more shot for a laser rifle. Then I'll have a laser.
Well, I've got
laser
some extra
for a
power
little while.
packs I can give you.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I've got 5 shots and no remaining hydrogen cells, so I'm all right for now.
I guess one of you guys could take it and use it if it's got any power to it.
How hard does this look to figure out? I mean, there's only 2 buttons, right? There's not a trigger.
Yeah, there is not a trigger. Let's see. Doesn't look too hard to figure out if you want to give it a try.
Okay. I'm notoriously terrible at this, but I'll try.
Roll a d10.
Okay. Let's see. What is my... You got a +2 on this.
A +2 or a -2?
+2. That's...
Oh.
Well, I got a 4. That isn't bad.
Okay. A red light on the very end of it is winking.
All right. I'll continue trying to... I got a 5.
Okay, the red light is now on steady.
Oh, no.
What?
11.
Ooh.
This die goes to 11.
Okay. The red light stays on. There is now a yellow light pulsing softly next to it.
I saw this in one of the Star Trek episodes. 7.
A 7. Nothing changes.
Oh, damn. It won't let
Trying
me.
to figure that out. I want to go look at the door and make sure nobody's coming in a skiff.
I got a 4.
Okay, the yellow light is on steady next to the red light that is on steady.
I'm gonna step away from the rest of the people
Okay.
just in case. Yeah, it's a good idea. I got a 11.
Okay. And nothing changes.
That's better than I expected.
Yeah, at least it didn't explode.
I got another 4. I roll an awful lot of 2s.
Okay, the yellow light is off. The red light is winking again. Or no, the red light is off. It's
Yellow light.
yeah, it's back the way it was before you did anything. You kind of
Before I screwed up.
push both. Okay, there's like a little part on the grip that moves. Would you like to try again?
Yeah, I got another 4.
Okay, you've got a winking red light.
I'm almost there, guys. Here comes the 12. Oh, a 10.
Okay, the red light has gone out and there is a blue light.
This is like the old Dragon Slayer game I used to play. Yeah, it's another 10 in a row.
It doesn't change.
Okay, I'm gonna agree to disagree with this thing and ask somebody else if they prefer to, that might have less of a learning disability that would prefer to learn this.
Gurgle a volunteer, I guess.
All right, Gerg, roll it.
Okay. Let me bring it up here. 2d10. Okay, got a 1 and a 3 with my -1s. I didn't add those in there.
Okay. It hums faintly in your tiny little paws, and it is a blinking red light and a green light that is steady on next to it.
Okay. I'll look around. Oh, I know. I'll point it at the that tube that the android stepped into.
Okay.
Then I'll try to figure out if I can fire the thing now.
All right, roll it. Put all the laser weapons on the clapper.
Ooh, I got a 9 and a 2.
So a 9 and a 2. Okay. You have got softly strobing yellow light and steady red light.
Okay. I'll fiddle with it another time here. 10. A 1 and a 7.
All right. You get it back to the winking red light, but nothing changes.
10. 6 and a 1.
All right. You eventually get it over to where you've got the steady red light and the softly pulsing yellow light next to it.
It's like a Rubik's Cube.
It is.
A 4 and an 8.
Okay. It's 2 blue lights.
Interesting. Something's changed.
Nice.
I just drained all the energy out of the power pack.
It's a
Oh, sounds like it's
25% off sale.
It sounds like it's gaining more energy, guys.
Run.
6 to 1.
Okay. A 6 and a 1.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing changes. You're back to a blue light and a red light.
Okay, a 1 and a 6. Going in reverse now. Got my blue lights back, right?
Flashing red light, no other lights.
Uh-oh.
I think that's good.
Ooh,
nice.
Flashing fast.
got a 1 and a 2.
A 1 and a 2. Okay. The
1 and a 2.
red light stops. You adjust one of the buttons. You realize, hey, these turn as well as push. So you turn one, you push it in. There's a click, and both lights are steady on red, and you can now feel the other button will do something if you touch it. Do you wish to test fire it?
Sure.
Okay.
Make sure there's nobody in the way except for that tube.
That thing at me.
Okay. You play the tube. You squeeze the trigger, pointing the thing at the tube. There's this awful hum that just puts your teeth on edge for a split second. And even though the light in the room is already fairly dim, the whatever energy that projected seemed to suck all the light out of the space around it.
Oh.
And the tube does not react.
Do any of the mutants react in the room?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll kind of look at it and kind of shrug, and I'll hand it back to Barongo.
Okay.
Have fun with that.
I think to him, there you go. It works now.
I'll put it in my if shit hits the fan, the turn after that slot.
Okay.
Spade. It's a vibrational weapon. I don't know.
You have no idea.
I'll just call it a vibrational thingy.
Okay.
I think the
It
black
is-
ray gave you some idea of what it might be.
All right.
Time to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get that tube open. And they walked on down the hall.
They got a torque grenade.
But we get back on that skiff.
Okay. So you have the skiff there. What are you doing?
Keep going. Come to the next door. Watch for robots.
Make sure we get Dash onto the skiff so we don't leave him there crying in his suit.
Okay.
We got him onto the skiff so we can keep him with us.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, you guys have seen the picture of the SF 3D armor that I said his power suit looks like, and yet, despite that, the intimidating and cool futuristic curvilinear lines. It still looks like he's kind of hanging his head and slumping his shoulders.
Yeah, we'll move on down the row. Keeping our eyes open for any other androids.
Okay. All right. You do not. Well, let's see. You do pass one of the. He's identical to the one you left in the tube, except he's not covered in dust. Who's just kind of walking up. There's a bit of stonework. It's the type of stone you've seen broken up in places back on Earth. But there is a path of that between the edge of the green in front of the houses and the track that you're on with the cart, and just walking up, and and then keeps walking.
Well, I would just wave back if he did try to exterminate us.
Yeah, he just friendly, and you guys keep on cruising. You can now see from the stretch that you're on, there is an opening in the far wall of this high-ceilinged area that you're in.
And no other skiffs but us.
No other skiffs but you. You pass a couple that are sitting on the ground. They are firmly grounded, not hovering like they're ready for driving or anything.
Make our way to that opening, I guess. Slow down a little bit.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. There are two doors. Big clamshell style doors as you approach it. Those open. You are not surprised by the presence of a couple of large robots that are kind of hovering there. They have sort of hover pads on their feet, and they look very similar to the security robots that you have seen down on Earth. And they are raising their weapons arms and pointing them at you.
Can we ram the skiff into them?
Roll initiative.
Is that back on me?
Sure.
Oh, 6.
Hey.
Okay, you guys are able to flatline the throttle as they're regarding you. You will strike them. Basically, you're spending this round moving. They're going to spend their time shooting, but you will hit them because you have initiative. We'll treat this as melee. Roll a d20.
Okay. 18.
18. Okay. So we're going to treat this as, let's see. We are going to treat this. I will give them armor class 3, but these are larger opponents. You did hit them both. Give me a 2d10 roll. Two 2d10 rolls.
Oh, okay. 2d10. Hang on here. Got a total of 18 on the first one.
Okay.
And a total of 11 on the other.
All right. So they are able to partially start getting out of the way as you're flooring it. You do strike glancing blows on both of them, and they are thrown against the wall. It's a new round. What are you doing?
Is the passage that they were coming out of, is it wide open? I mean, is it like a
Yeah.
tunnel?
Yeah, it's wide open.
I'm gonna floor it and go down the tunnel. Just leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can fire at them from the rear if you wish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're shooting at us, so we're shooting back.
Yeah, I pitched Barongo and Maddox each a power cell for the laser rifle.
Okay. Let's roll initiative then, and I think we're back to Doomsword. Roll it, please.
I just did. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Morongo.
I got a 5.
Since they have to recover, you guys will go first. You're at a penalty to hit them because you're moving around and they're getting further away. So you guys shoot first.
All right, I'll go. That's a 15.
That will hit.
$23.
Okay. Yeah, that one, smoke is pouring out of that one's vents.
I rolled a 2, so.
And I rolled an 8.
That will not hit because of penalties. They are firing back. There is a hail of some kind of physical objects just pattering all around you, bouncing off of the cart. You hear a couple of like breaking sounds, like glass or plastic shattering on the thing, but you're not hit. Let's roll initiative one more time. If you guys win, you will be out of effective range because of how fast you're going.
Put the getaway music on.
Little yakety sax, if we could, please.
Got a 2.
Well, that's enough to avoid them. They're still trying to adjust their fire. They just bump into each other. So you're blasting on down. Now, you see coming up ahead, there's a very sharp turn to the right. Give me a D20 roll. You want less than your dex on a D20 roll.
Good. That's not good. I got a 19.
Okay.
I've got a 14 dex, but still.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're like, Gerg! Everyone takes 15 points of damage, and you are thrown from the cart, and it flips end over end and smashes against a wall. Smoke is pouring out of it. There is, now that you've struck the wall and this thing is hit, sliding out of openings in the wall, there are black and yellow striped barriers that are in front of and behind where you're at, and rotating red and yellow lights. And this horn is sounding over and over again. Nat, 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 nat.
Checking on everybody to see if they're still awake or alive.
Yeah, I'm guessing that I'm under the vehicle at this point. So, because I was not able to throw myself in any direction other than straight down, gravity. So,
Get up, watch the stars above my head keep going around, and
yeah,
little birdies.
Yeah, Rex levers himself up in his power armor and pulls the plastic and metal hulk of the thing in half and picks you up. All right, buddy. You're okay.
Except I'm not okay.
Like a red
He's tripping, so it don't matter.
Come on, Bernie, let's go.
Exactly. That's the game from here on for this guy.
If I look behind us and around the corner a little bit, do I see those robots following us?
No, you do not.
Poof.
Is there
Oh, wait, are you dead?
I am dead.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I had 12 hit points.
Oh, it's not moving, guys.
Yeah.
Give him a little
Yeah,
kick.
yeah, this is beyond med pack applicability.
I think so.
Speaking of med packs, I'd like to use one.
Okay.
We do have the life thing back on Earth there, that life ray or whatever. We could take him back and stick him in that. If we can get back to the ship.
Yeah. I mean, there's that.
And then if we can get back to Earth.
Yeah. There's always a chance.
Well, get Rex to carry him, and
Yeah.
So luckily his brother came along with us, and he's ready for action.
There was a cloning bay before this one, right?
Looking around and trying to find a way to get somewhere.
Okay. Well, you're having a moment there. You're standing in the hallway. Your friend is dead. Rex says, if we can get him back to Earth, what if I took his body and made my way back to the ship and you continued on? With my suit, I should be able to fight past the security bots.
Do we have a choice?
man, get him to the ship. If
Get
we
to
can
the
make it
chopper.
back, we will. We're not there, and should we give him a time frame, or he'll just be ditching us?
Yeah.
I don't know how to fly the ship, so you're in no danger. If you perish here, so do I.
Yeah. Do we want to just try to make our way back to the ship, or do we want to continue exploring?
Yeah, we should get off this berg.
So is there more than one state of dead? No, I mean, seriously, there's like desiccated dead, but is there a freshly dead versus mostly dead versus dead?
Oh, I see what you're asking.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no. Yeah. I mean, you're.
Do we got to keep them on ice, keep them fresh?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, if there's no difference, then what's the hurry? Right?
Right.
Guys, do what you got to do.
Can't remember how long the body has to, how long it has to be before they were dead, where you can use that chamber.
Okay,
Well, if
so
we keep him here, we can eat him if we run out of food.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Lord Humongous over here. Okay, so what you know about the Rejuve chamber is let's see. Oh no, the life ray.
Yeah.
If it is used there's a 50% chance it will work if it's used within 24 hours of the person's death.
Okay, so there is a mostly dead versus totally dead kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's your guys' call. I'm dead, so I'm not in the com.
Yeah, I guess time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're down to man, and we're only coming up against more and more robots.
Wasting our ammo, finding nothing.
So we could use possibly med kits to restore him.
Okay, well, I got 2 more.
I do have a med kit with 2 charges on me. If you look,
Oh no! I'm sorry. I saw your question in the private chat. No, medkits in Gamma World only work on the alive.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
bummer.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Well, I'm good. Anybody else need one?
Can we find some electrical cords and that are alive and stick him on him and kind of jump his heart back?
Hook him up to the booster cables with Rex.
Gerg is not knowledgeable about that particular ancient procedure, so no.
Let's get him back to the ship and let's get out of here. We're doing nothing but finding death here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back with more people and take this place over.
Yeah.
I was told there were going to be Nazis.
They told me nachos.
We still got to make it past these security bots. Got to find a way around them.
Okay. Speak of the devil. Clanking down the hallway after you guys pry your buddy out of the wreckage, there are the two robots. They're pointing their weapons at you, saying, "Halt! Halt! 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 Halt!" So let us get stated intentions. I guess Maddox is not surrendering.
Never.
Okay. What is Gerg doing?
Firing.
Okay. Is anyone not firing? Let me ask you that.
Well, I don't want to be euthanized, so I think I'll fire.
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
going to hang out.
That's fine. Keeping your body from being perforated further, Rex Dashington will kind of duck around the corner and try and keep you in one fleshy meat sack. Okay. Let's roll initiative, and we'll just start back at the top. Doomsword roll for Maddox, please. Initiative.
4.
You guys will go first.
All right, I'll fire. 18.
That will hit.
18 damage.
Okay, and that one had gotten pretty badly damaged already. It's not looking good. Milo.
Pew pew. Ugh, 5.
That will miss. And Gerg.
Yeah, I got a 4.
That will miss. Okay. They raise their weapon pods and point them at you all. So let's see. That is a...
Smash him again, Gerg.
All right. A slug thrower. Well, you're in nice close range, so... 12 points of stunning damage to Maddox. Just this hail of painful thudding impacts to you. The other one is going to shoot at Milo. And miss badly. Just sprays the hall around you.
It's like all around. It's an outline of my... Look behind me. It's all bullet holes behind.
Yeah. Well, I should point out, Doomsword, Maddox doesn't have... You're not like bleeding. It was like getting hit with a hammer over and over again all over your body. So while it does hurt, it doesn't appear to have been intended to kill you outright.
And I'm not like stunned or incapacitated in any way.
It's taken the wind out of you. What is your current damage?
Well, my current, so I have 54 points of damage and 30 hit points remaining. I was fresh with 84.
Okay. So you had 54 and you just took 16?
No, that's I've taken 54 points after the most recent 12.
Okay. So you had it. Gotcha. I've gotcha. Okay. Counter fire, or no? You guys fired already. Yeah, they're gearing up to shoot you again. I'll feel bad for you, Kevin. So roll initiative for the party.
Okay. I got a 5. So far, it's all 5s.
Party goes first. That is sufficient.
Nice. Now here comes my 5 on a d20. Let's see. 6. Almost called it.
Still not sufficient to hit. Sorry.
Yeah, Milo missed again with the 3.
And Gerg missed with a 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
My rifle explodes.
Man.
Well, you will be happy to know that the spray of whatever these projectiles are misses Maddox.
Excellent.
Milo, however, you eat. See, oh, that's pathetic.
I took that biscuit.
8 points. And how much of your current total hit points was that 8 points? Like what are your current total hit points? Full?
I have 51 out of full. I was at 59, which was
Okay. All right, yeah, that stings like being hit by a bunch of wasps.
Oh, son of a.
Okay. They sort of look at each other, and their arms that the weapons are mounted on flip over, and instead of the multiple barrels that spin and fire these whatever they are projectiles out, there's now just one large barrel pointing at you guys. I know what they're going to do. I'm guessing you guys are going to continue to shoot, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Mobius, roll for the party.
Alrighty, that's 6.
Nice.
That is a high. So you guys and they are shooting at the same time.
Alrighty. Oh, natty 1.
I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Same here.
Oh my god.
Nice knowing you, boys.
Okay.
Just like laser rounds firing off into nothingness.
So that's 13. Yeah, they both. No, that's 13, and that's
Could get a ricochet or something.
7. So 13 and 7. I don't think the 7 is gonna matter, but the 13 might. So both of them, there's a sort of a this punting sound, and something clanks out near you on either side, and a white gas begins to billow out. Let's see. What is everyone's constitution?
13.
Mine's,
16.
17. And I have a gas mask.
Oh, and you have a gas mask, so you're not affected. So Milo, your constitution is a 13?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Milo's eyes roll back in his head, and he just kind of falls to the ground. He's kind of twitching, but he's still breathing. The rest of you, it's just kind of causing you to hack and cough, feel a little numb in the face and extremities, but it's not otherwise impacting you. They still have these weapons pointed at you, so going down the table, Doomsword Maddox going to shoot.
Yes, sir.
Gerg, you gonna shoot?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Doomsword, roll initiative. This is a big one. You guys will probably. You guys go first.
All right, I'll fire. This is my last shot before reload. And it's a 20.
That hits.
Take that.
And I got a 13.
Damage.
All right, you both hit.
18 points of damage. My last 2 dice suck.
10 points of damage. All of my dice sucked.
Okay. With the damage you did by ramming them and by shooting them later, that is enough that they go down.
Awesome.
Sparking
Yes.
and spitting. Like I said, Milo is fine. You hear your buddy Rex comes around the corner, cradling the body of Barongo, and says, "Let's get out of here as quickly as we can."
Can we get one of the other skiffs operational that we passed by in the neighborhood?
You can try.
I'll see if I can figure out a way to get one going so we can move down the hallway quickly.
You're the expert.
Gurgle hotwire it.
Okay. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about Milo? He's unconscious.
Oh, I thought he was
check him
okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to revive him first.
I mean, I guess I don't know any better, so I suppose I'll use a med pack on him.
You know what? We'll say that's enough to bring him around. It purges the toxins out of his system, and gives him a quick pulmonary scrubbing, and he wakes up.
Hey, you all right there?
Hey, thanks, man. Back to full health.
Oh, we lost you for a second.
I was having these wonderful dreams.
I bet. What about being home?
I was killing all humans, and you were in it. All right, so you're headed back to the residential section, correct?
Yes.
All right, you make it back, and there's nothing. Nothing jumps out at you while you're going back.
Okay. Start trying to get one of the other ones operational. The other skiffs.
Okay. Let's see. Now, if this were just a case of operating the skiff, it would be a fait accompli, but you are trying to get one that does not work to work.
Well, trying to see if any of them will start. If we can get it operational and just get it functioning.
The first one, no way.
Okay.
However, the very second one, which is like one street over, you're like, Gerg. Gerg. You give everybody a thumbs up. So you will have to make some rolls nonetheless.
Okay.
Because you realize it's been sitting since the before time. So
Okay, I got a 2 and a 4.
a 2 and a 4. Let us see. Let me get to everybody's favorite page. I got to say, I'm a little disappointed that the pistol you guys found didn't get some more hilarious die rolls on it. But we do what we can. So let's see.
Well, we still have it.
Yeah, let's always try again.
There's time.
Hey, see if you can figure this out, Rex.
Believe it does.
Maybe on the ride back. There we go.
And then they had to roll up all new characters, every one of them. All right, so that's enough that you're able to. So a 2 and a 4. Yeah, you're able to open a couple of panels, swap some wires around, figure things out, roll it again.
Pair of ones.
Okay, there's a hum coming from somewhere deep within this thing. You want to roll it again?
Sure. Ooh, a 3 and a 8.
Okay, nothing changes about it, but there is a humming sound comes underneath it, and you can tell it's now sitting on the ground on like feet that have unfolded underneath it.
Okay.
But the hum is still the hum is still going. You haven't broken anything, you think.
Okay. Ooh, a 4 and a 1.
All right. Nothing changes, but you push forward on the unusual lever, and you hear a clank as the feet fold up underneath it, and it glides forward in the direction you push the lever.
Awesome.
Nice.
You want another roll or?
No, you figure
Okay.
you have repaired this one to operational status.
There. You have wait
Slap him on
everybody
the
to
back.
get on.
Okay. Unless you guys wish to stop and engage them, we'll just say you blow past some more of the attendants, male and female both, who take pot shots at you guys. And believe it or not, as many as you guys passed that were shooting, only one of them managed to hit, and that was, assign a little bit more weight, that was Rex. And yeah, you just you all feel like a wash of heat over you as some kind of beam strikes Rex's armor, but it's got a force field built in, so it just sort of splashes off of it.
Okay.
And soon you find your way back at the Rex is using the board that he had pulled off the wall. He's like, go left up here, take a right, next left, next right, and so on to guide you guys out of here. And eventually you come back to the departure area with all of the bodies lying scattered about.
Okay.
We're going to try to override that thing that brought us here to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. You beaten feet back for the accelerating back to the ship then, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, pulling Brongo with us.
Yep.
Unless Rex is carrying him.
Well, that's right, because you go through the departure lounge, and then there's your
Yeah, was that like the end of a hallway or something?
yeah, it's the next skimmer cart, which you don't have to make die rolls, grav sled rather. Your next grav sled, which you don't have to make die rolls to work. You can just turn it around.
Yeah.
And in the 20 minutes it takes you to get back to the ship, you don't encounter any more robots or androids.
We get loaded on the ship, I guess, and get ready to take off.
Okay. So, Gerg, the board is locked down.
Okay.
You need to make some die rolls, good buddy.
Okay.
Gerg, you can do it, buddy.
Yeah.
Got faith in you.
Glad somebody does.
Mm.
The little critter.
Okay, I got a 2 and a 4.
Okay, you're able to get like all the systems online. You know, you throw a few switches and get past whatever simple instructions into the computer in this thing that he was stopping you with. Give me another.
Ooh, a 6 and a 6.
Yeah, you know, type with your little fingers, priority override, denied. Priority override, denied.
Grr. Keep trying.
Okay.
Ooh, an 8 and a 6. Getting worse, guys.
Okay.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. It denies you and then throws you back out of the system controls. So you'll have to try again.
Grr. Hit the console and then try it again.
All right.
An 8 and a 2.
Okay. Can't undo it, but you get back to the you get back to the primary environmental controls. You've got control of those again.
2 and a 7.
Okay, you've got your pre-flight controls unlocked, but that's as far as you can get.
4 and a 2.
Okay. Okay. Maddox, you see down at the far end of the gangway, you see the doors opening. Someone or something is coming. What was your last two rolls there, James?
4 and a 2.
Okay.
Guys, we got company.
Yeah, you try and get the reactor online. It locks you out. You try another code. You've got the drive systems online again.
Grr.
All right, roll it again.
Oh, an 8 and an 8.
Okay. Something different happens.
And now for something totally different.
Yeah.
Press the eject button.
Yeah, the drive shoots out through the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, a 4 and a 1.
Okay. You slap a couple of override toggles and key in another command, and you've got total control of the ship again.
Oh.
And you can feel and hear dull thuds of impacts. The bubble cars, whatever clear glass-like substance that makes up its upper hull is dimming automatically when the impacts hit, so none of you are having your retinas burned out. Rex has secured Borongo into a crash couch. Give me roll initiative, James, for Gerd.
3.
Okay, yeah, this dome is like starting to iris closed over you as you're headed out. But you manage to put the hammer down as it's closing, and you are out of this strange moon base.
Okay. Now we just have to figure out where Earth's at now. Pointed in the right direction.
Well, it's this big blue thing, and it's over there.
What's that yellow thing?
Yeah.
We'll point towards the big blue ball and start racing that direction.
Okay. I think last time I said it took you like 11 hours to get from the Earth to where you were. So factoring that in, you've got about 9 hours to spare to try and save Borongo.
Okay.
You land back at your home facility, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay. There's good old Dr. Trusty. Old Doc Trusty says, yes, he is non-operational. Do you wish me to attempt the life ray?
Yerg.
Okay. They slot an atomic battery in, flip a couple of switches. Ooh, that's a close one. Let me see here.
This is where we don't want close ones.
I'd roll a system shock, but they don't have it.
Oh, they do sort of. It's just a base 50% chance, but we're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Let's see. Artifact category, because this thing doesn't just automatically work every time. But I had rolled an excellent condition for it, so it does kick on properly. And now, Kevin,
The moment.
give me a percentile roll. You have a 50% chance.
4.
Ow.
Oh.
Those good or bad? Or
No, low is good. Low is great.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. A character resurrected by the life ray must re-roll all ability traits. Because this
that's
thing
actually
is
not a bad thing, because my character's the traits are not great.
yes. Yeah, you know that scene in what the hell is it? The Fifth Element, when they're rebuilding
Oh yeah.
Lilu. It's not that extreme, but I mean you are kind of burned up and crushed, and it has to make many passes, multi-pass, one might even say.
Okay, so what's the roll strategy for this? 4d6, 3d6.
You just you just roll your stats as outlined in the
Okay.
in the book.
Do I have to reload mutations as well?
I'm gonna say no, because those are writ in your DNA.
Okay.
So let's see. Character stat rolls. Does anyone remember off the top of your head? Is it just 3d6 down the line, or was it kind of left up to game masters? Because
it's all
I
different.
don't game
Depends on
mastered
if
it.
you're a pure strain human or.
I'm a mutated human.
Okay, hold on.
Let's see. Yeah, it's 46. Discarding the lowest.
Okay,
no,
so
that depends if you want us to have an increased chance of success.
Hell no.
Just take 4d6 and discard lowest, but go down the line.
Okay, so top down. Okay, I'll do that.
Yes. Which, if this were AD&D, I could tell you is strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, 5e players.
Right. But it's mental strength, intelligence, dexterity, physical strength, charisma, and constitution.
Yes.
All right,
Sure.
I'll roll those. You guys can keep playing while I'm re-rolling, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I think probably what we're going to do, because we've got 15 minutes left, is we'll wrap on you coming out of the tube.
Does it look neat watching them be reconstructed?
Yeah, I mean, it's this light show. These like red lights are like playing up and down his broken body, and you're watching tissue.
Horrified, yet dumbfounded at the same time.
Actively regrowing bones that were crushed and sticking out of his body or folding back down in.
Why is it clearing? That's weird. Okay, well, character sheets. Not happy. I got a 7,
Oof.
15,
Yeah.
and 11.
Okay.
A
A 13.
15. Yep. It's still not much worse than what I had.
There you go. So that does ask the question: where are you sticking the 7?
Holy crap!
Oh, and
17 or 16. 16. Well, I was doing it one down the line, right? So the 7's in mental strength.
Yeah.
Which works with my character because he has a learning disability.
Yeah, that's a dumb stat.
Certainly does.
It goes with my genius capability, by the way, which is only for economics.
Lord Corion asked, how much do I have to donate to make him wear the Lilu outfit whenever he gets out of the tube?
That is up to you, Lord Corion. That is entirely up to you. Give from your heart. But
Right.
yeah, so I mean, you come out much as you went in. It's you're unconscious for the entire process until it literally restarts the ATP cycle and reboots your brain. The last thing you remember is, hey, let's get on this cart and we can drive out of the residential area on the moon. That's, that's it.
My constitution's actually 7 points higher than it was before.
Hey.
So I suspect that hit points change.
Yes, they do.
Okay. All right. I'll correct all this stuff for the next session.
Sure. No. That's fine. This is literally a case of that which didn't kill you made you stronger. Not mentally stronger, but I mean, good Lord, no. But anyway, so I think that's where we'll go ahead and wrap for the evening, unless Lord Corion wanted to see you in the Lilu bandage bikini, which I can't really do. I can't make him do it. I mean, you guys would have to super chat me like crazy, and then I'd have to like split it with Kevin, and it would just be a mess.
The sad thing is my default is tough for armor, so it's not far off. Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so we will wrap there, and we will start off next session with some XP awards. So you guys successfully completed your lunar excursion, and we will proceed from there. I want to thank everyone in the audience tonight, particularly those of you who had questions. Ian, thank you very much for asking some good questions. Monday, we're going to be back, barring anything popping up. Monday, we're going to come back. I will probably wrap up talking about S4 on Monday. If not, then we'll wrap it up on Tuesday. But regardless, Tuesday night, we have another classic role-playing game live stream for you. We'll be playing some first edition AD&D. And those of you not familiar got a little taste of what the tabletop's going to look like with miniatures and Dwarven Forge, which we will have out for your visual feasting upon. Wednesday, my co-host Kyle will be here on Wednesday. That'll be awesome. Kyle's always a lot of fun. Thursday, I don't predict anything getting in the way on Thursday, so we'll hang out for a little bit Thursday, and then on Friday we'll throw the Gamma Roll cruise to the six-legged wolfoids again and have some fun. So thank you again to my players and my audience. You guys have an absolutely wonderful, safe weekend. Stay hydrated. It's a summer, and I'll see you all next time. Peace, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.